Chapter 110. Kid, you're really something. The seventh forefather came before Chu Kuangren and praised him. The old lady and Honorable Qing Lan were also pleased and impressed. Even the seventh forefather and the other two did not expect to kill 100,000 demonic cultivators. Not to mention that Chu Kuangren managed to forge a Supreme Battle Monarch Foundation level after killing 100,000 demonic cultivators. It was unbelievable. Chu Kuangren smiled and said, "After this battle, the demonic onslaught in northern Lingdao has been mostly resolved. The next step will be much easier." Not bad. However, I'm afraid the reputation of the other sage orthodoxies is going to be tarnished this time. Those Daoists will definitely be punished when they return. Honorable Qing Lan smiled and said. The demonic onslaught was a chance for the sage orthodoxies to train their sky prides, hoping that they could use this opportunity to raise their reputation. However, no one expected things to turn out this way. Chu Kuangren had taken all the limelight. It could even be said that he had single-handedly resolved the demonic onslaught. The sky prides of the other sage orthodoxies did not do much, but the people and cultivators of northern Lingdao could see that. Even if they did not say anything, the reputation of Jianghu Valley, the sacred lands of serene wisdom, and the other sage orthodoxies would definitely be affected. They reap what they sow, Chu Kuangren said. If these people really wanted to help the people solve the demonic onslaught, things would not have turned out this way. After that, Chu Kuangren left the mountain range and returned to the mountain river city. In the city, countless people stood on both sides of the street. When Chu Kuangren entered the city, everyone looked at him with a fervent gaze. Chu Kuangren was shocked. Damn it, what's wrong with these people? He did not know that the Li family head had used the divine observatory mirror to promote him. We thank Master Chu for your kindness. Thank you, Brother Chu. Immortal's great kindness, we will never dare to forget it. The people and cultivators on both sides of the street were kneeling on the ground. Some of them addressed Chu Kuangren as a brother, while others called him master. To most people, Chu Kuangren was an immortal. The crowd was kneeling on the ground, and it was a spectacular sight to behold. Chu Kuangren was a little stunned by the scene. However, he still went forward to help the Li family patriarch and the mountain river Daoist up. Everyone, there's no need to do this. Please get up. Fellow Daoist, you've helped northern Lingdao to resolve the demonic onslaught. This is a great favor that you deserve. Patriarch Li said. It's my job, Chu Kuangren said. He dealt with the crowd. Not far away, Ao Chang and the others were filled with hatred and jealousy when they saw the revered Chu Kuangren. No matter where they were, as long as Chu Kuangren was around, they would all be relegated to the background. No one would notice them at all. This made them extremely aggrieved. No matter what, they were the geniuses of their respective orthodoxies. Phew, I'm finally back. Chu Kuangren could not help but lament when he returned to his temporary residence. Just now, on the street, everyone was extremely friendly to him. Dealing with this group of people was probably not as tiring as killing 100,000 devil cultivators. The next day, Chu Kuangren yawned and stood up. As usual, he opened the fantasy roulette after brushing his teeth and washing his face. It's been a while since I've gotten anything good. I hope I'll be lucky this time, Chu Kuangren thought. The roulette began to spin. Congratulations host, you've drawn a legendary item. Eternal Emperor Scripture. Huh? Chu Kuangren's body trembled. F***ck me, I really got a legendary item. And it was an Emperor Scripture. Emperor Scriptures were similar to Emperor techniques in that they were usually created by emperors. However, there was still a huge difference between the two. The latter referred to a certain technique, while the former referred to an emperor's understanding of the Tao. It could also include various techniques. For example, an emperor technique was a poem, while an emperor scripture was a book that taught people how to compose a poem. It could also include various types of poems. In terms of value, an emperor scripture was far more valuable than an emperor technique. Especially in this era where monarch inheritances were severed and even monarch techniques were extremely rare, monarch scriptures were unimaginably precious treasures. If this emperor scripture were to appear, the entire firmament star would be in chaos. None of the orthodoxies could resist such a temptation. The Eternal Emperor scripture was written by an eternal emperor. It includes the Tao Enlightenment section, the Emperor Technique section, the Alchemy section, the Runic section. Chu Kuangren looked at the introduction of the Eternal Emperor scripture. He could not wait to take this emperor scripture out and study it. Studying an emperor scripture is not child's play. I mustn't be impulsive. Chu Kuangren took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. Then, he began to familiarize himself with the power in his body. He had just ascended to the battle monarch realm yesterday and had even formed a supreme foundation like the nine-pearled crown. He had to find some time to test it out. Besides the breakthrough in his cultivation, Chu Kuangren felt that his body had also changed. His immortal body had improved. He was originally in the first realm of the immortal body, but after he broke through to the battle monarch realm, he had now reached the second realm. Broken limbs rebirth. Originally, he could heal all kinds of injuries quickly. Now, even if he broke an arm or a leg, he could recover quickly. Chu Kuangren took out the Descendant Self sword and waved it around his arm and thigh, wondering if he should give it a try. After some thought, he gave up on the idea. After all, he did not have the tendency to hurt himself. In the dark, the three protectors looked at each other. They did not understand what Chu Kuangren was trying to do. What kind of person would use a sword to stab themselves in the back? Master, there's a visitor. At that moment, Lan Yu knocked on the door and said, "All right, I'm coming." Chu Kuangren answered, put on his clothes, and walked out. "Master, please wait a moment." Lan Yu suddenly called out to Chu Kuangren. She walked up to him and straightened his crooked collar. Then, she looked at him and smiled in satisfaction. "It's done." "Damn, I didn't expect Lan Yu to have obsessive-compulsive disorder." Chu Kuangren laughed and then walked towards the great hall. He saw that the visitor was an old man in plain clothes. This old man's hair and beard were all white. Although he was wearing plain clothes, he had an extraordinary aura and demeanor. Chu Kuangren looked at him and activated the Eye of Revelation. The Divine Predictor, the sect leader of the Phantom Valley Physiognomy sect. He's an expert in the art of divination. He can foresee 500 years in the past and 300 years in the future. He's the #1 physiognomist in Firmament Star. Oh, it's him. Chu Kuangren's heart skipped a beat. The Divine Predictor was definitely a legend in Firmament Star. He was the #1 physiognomist in the world of physiognomy, and he was the one who predicted the reopening of the Emperor's path in this world. It was because of this person that this world was known as the era of great battles and gave countless cultivators the hope of becoming an emperor. Even an honorable supreme would have to show some respect to this person. Why would such a person come looking for me? Greetings, Senior Divine Predictor. Chu Kuangren dared not delay and immediately stepped forward to greet him. Oh, you already know who I am even before I tell you my identity. Could it be that Junior Chu also has the ability to predict the future? The Divine Predictor said in surprise. Senior, you must be joking. Everyone in Firmament Star knows about you, so it's not surprising that I know about you. May I know why you're looking for me, Senior? Chu Kuangren asked curiously. I'm just curious. The Divine Predictor no longer cared about how Chu Kuangren knew about him. Chapter 111. Curious? Chu Kuangren was a little surprised. I've traveled the world and seen all kinds of people. There are emperors, talented generals, and even sky prides. I ask myself, no matter who it is in front of me, even if it's that high and mighty saint, I can still see through it. However, you're an exception. At that, the divine predictor stared at Chu Kuangren with uncontrollable curiosity. You're an anomaly. I can't see your past or future. It's as if you don't exist in the river of time. It's too strange. Chu Kuangren frowned. He did not exist in the river of time. Was it because he was not a person of this world? Chu Kuangren had a strange feeling when he thought of that. I wonder if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. The divine predictor shook his head. But if I can't find your existence in the river of time, then all the Tao of divination will be useless to you. In a way, you don't have to worry that someone will use this against you. I guess this is a good thing. Yes. Chu Kuangren nodded and did not think too much about it. Since he was already here, he might as well make the best of it. Things like the river of time and karma were too difficult for him to comprehend. Thinking too much would hurt his head, so he might as well not think about it at all. Lan Yu, prepare some tea for our senior. Yes. Lan Yu poured a cup of tea for the divine predictor. The divine predictor glanced at Lan Yu and exclaimed, "This young lady is extraordinary. I'm afraid her future achievements will not be any weaker than the emperors of old." The divine predictor's words shocked the seventh forefather and the other protectors. No weaker than the emperors of old? What did that mean? It meant that she would at least become an emperor. Lan Yu could become an emperor in the future? F***ck me. They knew that Lan Yu was talented and would not lose to any sky prides in this world, but they did not expect the divine predictor to praise her like that. Chu Kuangren was surprised too, but he smiled and said, "Ha, you're indeed my Lan Yu. You must protect me when you become an emperor." Lan Yu nodded seriously. "Whether I become an emperor or not, I will always follow you, master." To her, becoming an emperor was secondary. The most important thing was to stay by Chu Kuangren's side. Of course, if she could become an emperor, she would definitely be of great help to her master in the future. Chu Kuangren chuckled and continued his conversation with the divine predictor. Since the divine predictor was a big shot of this era, he would definitely know a lot of secrets. Chu Kuangren would take this opportunity to find out as much as he could. Unfortunately, every time Chu Kuangren asked a crucial question, the other party would tell him that the secrets of the heavens must not be revealed and shut him up. The fortune-teller's words were so vague that it made Chu Kuangren feel depressed. It is fate that brought us together. I will reveal a little bit. Actually, it is not really revealing. After all, this matter will soon be known by the whole world. Oh, please tell me, senior. About half a month later, the great Tao will manifest and give birth to 49 wisps of primordial Emperor's Qi. Those who obtain the Emperor's Qi will be able to increase their chances of becoming an emperor by comprehending the Emperor's Qi. The appearance of the primordial Emperor's Qi also indicates that the era of great battles has begun. Even the ancient geniuses who have been hibernating will awaken one by one. At that time, little friend Chu, I'm afraid you will have a worthy opponent. The divine predictor smiled faintly. The seventh forefather and the others secretly took note of his words and prepared to report back to the orthodoxies. This matter was related to becoming an emperor, so it was too important. I've heard of the primordial Emperor's Qi. Chu Kuangren pondered. If the primordial purple haze was the foundation of becoming a sage, then the primordial Emperor's Qi would be the foundation of becoming an emperor. It was extremely valuable. However, having the primordial Emperor's Qi did not mean that one would definitely become an emperor. It just meant that the chances of becoming an emperor were much higher than cultivators without the primordial Emperor's Qi. No matter what, the Emperor's Qi was much more valuable than the primordial purple haze. A single wisp of primordial purple haze was enough to attract all the orthodoxies to fight for it, let alone the primordial Emperor's Qi. Moreover, there were 49 of them. The era of great battles was too extraordinary. It's my fortune to obtain the Emperor's Qi, but it's my fate to lose it. As for the ancient geniuses you mentioned, if they're all like Ao Chang, I'm afraid they're no match for me. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Ao Chang might not even be able to withstand a single attack from him. As for the other ancient sky prides, no matter how strong they were, how strong could they be? As if sensing Chu Kuangren's disdain, the divine predictor said, Ao Chang wasn't the only ancient sky prides. Ao Chang lived 30,000 years ago, and the sky prides back then weren't that much stronger than those of this era. However, the older the sky prides are, the closer they are to the emperor's era, the more terrifying they are. Back then, they even possessed the complete emperor's inheritance. Those sky prides are incomparable to the ones we have now. Chu Kuangren's interest was piqued. Then I'm looking forward to it. I hope it won't disappoint me too much. Although the divine predictor hid a lot of things from Chu Kuangren, the information he revealed was still shocking enough. At least, the seventh forefather and the other protectors were shocked. After sending off the divine predictor, the seventh forefather and the other two walked out from the void. Half a month later, the great Tao will manifest, and 49 streams of Xianhuang Emperor Qi will be born. This is no small matter. We must report this back to the orthodoxy, and let the sect leader and the others prepare early. The seventh forefather said solemnly. All right, then send a message to Master and the others. Also, tell them that I'll be returning to the Black Heaven sect in a few days. Maniac Chu said. The seventh forefather asked in surprise, Little guy, you're not going to train anymore? No, there's nothing left to train. Chu Kuangren shook his head with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. None of the sky prides in this world can withstand a single sword attack from me. What else is there to train for? The seventh forefather and the other two looked at each other, the corners of their mouths twitching. Perhaps only Chu Kuangren would say something like that. However, no one could refute it. This was especially true now that he had advanced to the battle monarch realm. Putting aside geniuses, even a venerable might not be able to withstand a single strike from him. The seventh forefather felt that it would not be long before Chu Kuangren no longer needed their protection. At that thought, they were extremely shocked. How long had it been since he entered the world? How could he have reached such a level? 2 days later, the demonic onslaught in the northern Lingdao state was almost over. Throughout the process, the cultivators that Chu Kuangren sent out did not encounter any obstacles. Once the news of him slaughtering 100,000 demonic cultivators got out, not just the northern Lingdao state, but every demonic cultivator in the world was scared out of their wits. Who would dare to come to the northern Lingdao state? As for those who were still in the northern Lingdao state, they wished that their parents had given them an extra pair of legs so that they could leave this place as soon as possible. Slaughtering 100,000 demonic cultivators? Was this something that a young junior could do? This is too scary. This Chu Kuangren is too scary. D****, we can't stay in this state any longer. This demonic onslaught was basically solved by Chu Kuangren alone. What a monster. The demonic cultivators were terrified, the righteous cultivators were in awe, and the common people respected Chu Kuangren as if he was a god. Even in Mountain River City, some scholars had begun to write books about Chu Kuangren. As for the mountain range where Chu Kuangren slaughtered 100,000 demonic cultivators, many people called it, the Weeping Demon Mountain. It meant the place where the demonic cultivators cried. Some people in the later generations had read about it. Chapter 112. In the Black Heaven sect, Honorable Xian Qi and the others had long received news of Chu Kuangren's impending return, so they were waiting for him with a group of elders. Apart from them, the 100,000 disciples of the Black Heaven sect were also looking forward to it. Say, eldest senior brother has only been in the world for less than half a year. How can he be back so soon? This is way too fast. What kind of person is eldest senior brother? Although he's only been in the world for half a year, he's already known to the world. Why would he still need to train? That's true. Eldest senior brother is really amazing. Yes, too strong. I'm so looking forward to it. I just joined the Black Heaven sect and haven't seen eldest senior brother yet. I really don't know what he looks like. Little junior sister, I guarantee that after you meet eldest senior brother, no other man will be able to enter your eyes. The disciples discussed fervently as they looked in the direction of the Black Heaven sect's mountain gate. Gradually, a black dot approached from afar. Upon closer inspection, it was a group of immortal boats. The ferry boats stopped in front of the Black Heaven sect's mountain gate. A white-robed young man walked down from the leading ferry boat, followed by a lady in a long skirt. These two people were Chu Kuangren and Lan Yu. As for the other ferry boats, they were carrying Nangong Huang, Murong Xian, and the others who had gone to northern Lingdao to eliminate the demonic onslaught. Now, they had returned triumphantly. Eldest senior brother has returned. Heavens, eldest senior brother really has the bearing of an immortal. Eldest brother, I love you. Some of the disciples who had just joined the Black Heaven sect saw Chu Kuangren for the first time, and they were all amazed and mesmerized by him. When the other disciples saw this, their expressions were as if they had expected it. Welcome, eldest senior brother. Daoist Juni walked out and said loudly with cupped hands. When the others saw this, they quickly followed suit and bowed. Welcome, eldest senior brother. Welcome, eldest senior brother. Welcome, eldest brother. All of a sudden, 100,000 disciples cheered in unison. Their voices were so loud that it could even be heard in the clouds. It was evident that Chu Kuangren's prestige in the Black Heaven sect was high. Chu Kuangren smiled at the crowd before he walked up to Honorable Xianxia, Elder Ruyan, and the others and greeted them with a fist salute. Greetings, Master, Elder. Kuangren, you don't have to be so courteous. You've worked hard on this trip to the northern Lingdao state to slay demons and defend the righteous path. Honorable Xianxia stepped forward and said in a gratified manner. He had heard about Chu Kuangren slaughtering 100,000 demonic cultivators. Even among the honorable cultivators of the older generation, there were not many who could achieve such a feat. It must be said that although Chu Kuangren was still young, the things that he had done had already surpassed most of the cultivators in the world. It's nothing. It's part of my job. Chu Kuangren chuckled. His trip to the northern Lingdao state, whether it was killing 100,000 demonic cultivators to break through to the battle monarch realm, obtaining the demonic spear of apocalypse, or increasing the prestige of the Black Heaven sect, it was a worthwhile trip for him. After a welcoming ceremony, Honorable Xianxia pulled Chu Kuangren aside and said, "What do you think about the primordial emperor's essence?" The seventh forefather had already informed Honorable Xianxia about what Tianjizi had told him. The primordial emperor's essence is similar to the primordial purple qi. It's a treasure that can help one become an emperor. However, just like the primordial purple qi, relying on it to become an emperor is the lowest tier in the emperor realm. But that's still an emperor. Honorable Xianxia was amazed. An emperor? There hasn't been an emperor for 150,000 years, but why do I feel like you don't care about it at all? Chu Kuangren shrugged and said innocently, "Honorable teacher, you said it yourself. That's an emperor we're talking about. How could I not care about it? It's just that I don't want to rely on the primordial emperor's essence to become an emperor." You're confident that you can become an emperor by yourself? This is an era where the great Dharma emergence takes place. Most of the emperors of old became emperors with their own strength, so why can't I do the same? Ha, Kuangren, it's great that you have the courage to compete with the emperors of old, but the primordial emperor's essence is also a rare treasure that you must fight for. Even if you take 10,000 steps back, this is still a way out, isn't it? Honorable Xianxia laughed. It was not that he did not believe in Chu Kuangren, but it was too difficult for him to become an emperor by himself. Although it was the great Dharma emergence, if he did not succeed, the primordial emperor's essence would ensure that he would not fall behind. Fight for it? I didn't say that I won't fight for it. Chu Kuangren said. Although he did not plan to rely on the primordial emperor's essence, it was still a good choice to take back such a treasure, be it for his collection or for others to use. By the way, honorable teacher, I plan to go into closed-door meditation for a while. Alright, go ahead. You've just broken through to the Battle Monarch realm not too long ago, so you do need to go into closed-door meditation to stabilize your cultivation. Honorable Xianxia did not mind. He felt that with Chu Kuangren's ability, he would be able to stabilize his cultivation in a few days. However, he did not know that Chu Kuangren's closed-door meditation this time was not to stabilize his cultivation, but to gain insight into the Eternal Emperor scripture that he had obtained a few days ago. Inside the towering Heaven Palace, Lil Bing was ecstatic to see Chu Kuangren. Master, you're finally back. Lil Bing missed you so much. Oh, Lil Bing, you've improved quite a bit. Chu Kuangren noticed that Lil Bing's cultivation level had reached the nascent soul realm. Even among the true disciples, she would be a top-notch expert. After all, when she first arrived, she was not even a golden core realm cultivator. This is all thanks to the spiritual gathering formation in the Daoist palace. Otherwise, I wouldn't have improved so quickly, Lil Bing said. It's all thanks to your own hard work. Chu Kuangren laughed. After catching up with Lil Bing for a while, he went into closed-door meditation. Inside the Daoist palace's room, Chu Kuangren took out a light yellow thread-bound ancient book. There was a faint Daoist rhyme on the book, and the words, Eternal Emperor Scripture, were written on it. An emperor's aura roared out. How terrifying! It was just a thin booklet, but Chu Kuangren felt like it weighed millions of pounds, as if he was carrying a mountain. The Emperor's aura put Chu Kuangren's Daoist core under unimaginable pressure, and he could not help but want to kneel and kowtow. F*ck me, without a certain level of strength, I'm afraid it's difficult to even read this Emperor's scripture. Chu Kuangren channeled his spiritual power, and the 5 supreme foundation levels in his spiritual mound all radiated with divine light to resist the aura. After a while, Chu Kuangren gradually familiarized himself with the aura, and he used all his strength to flip to the first page of the Emperor's scripture. In an instant, countless mysterious characters came into view and intertwined in Chu Kuangren's mind, forming into a white-robed young man with dashing eyebrows and starry eyes. His body emanated an endless Emperor's aura. The young man's lips opened and closed as if he was chanting some kind of wisdom. A strange epiphany appeared in Chu Kuangren's mind. At that moment, his understanding of the Tao was rising crazily. He knew that the person in front of him was the Eternal Emperor, and the words he was chanting were the Emperor's Tao epiphany. This was a great opportunity for any cultivator who had yet to become an emperor. Chu Kuangren dared not delay and immersed himself in his Tao epiphany. Daoist cultivators did not know the passage of time. Soon, half a month had gone by. While Chu Kuangren was in closed-door meditation to understand the Emperor's scripture, a series of major events happened in Firmament Star. All over Firmament Star, there were earthquakes, tsunamis, and natural disasters of varying degrees. The ancient sky prides who were in deep slumber had finally awakened in this great Dharma emergence era. Chapter 113. Boom! The ground quaked and a mountain range cracked open. Rays of light shot out from the crack, and a green-robed figure walked out from it. Waves of mysterious Daoist rhymes flowed around his body. Is this the era of the great Tao emergence? As expected, it's much easier to gain insights into Taoism than it was during my era. The spiritual qi here is abundant too. I must become an emperor in this life. The green-robed figure said with great pride. Amidst the turbulent sea, a water column suddenly shot up into the sky. A black-haired man clad in scaled armor emerged from the water column. He held a trident in his hand, and his entire body was surging with Daoist rhymes. The great Tao emergence, the era of great battles. Sky prides, I'll be waiting for you. The man let out a long roar, and the surrounding seawater rumbled. On an altar, countless Thunder Falcon tribe cultivators were kneeling on the ground. In front of them was a black coffin. The coffin was engraved with mysterious runes. Suddenly, the coffin trembled and exploded with a loud bang. A large amount of lightning energy erupted and danced about in the air with a terrifying momentum. "Greetings, Forefather! Greetings, Forefather!" The Thunder Falcon tribe cultivators cheered. When the dust settled, a white-robed, blue-haired young man walked out of the coffin. When his eyes opened and closed, tiny arcs of electricity could be seen dancing in them. "I've finally arrived at this era." With the revival of the ancient sky prides, the firmament star had officially begun the era of great battles. On the 15th day after Chu Kuangren went into closed-door meditation, a golden chi soared into the sky from one of the mountain peaks in the Azure Dragon domain, accompanied by a mysterious Daoist rhyme that reverberated in the heavens. Golden lotuses sprouted from the ground and formed a series of transformations. That was the phenomenon brought about by the appearance of the primordial emperor's essence. In an instant, the entire Azure Dragon domain and even firmament star fell into an unprecedented frenzy. All the orthodoxies went to fight for the emperor's essence. In the end, the emperor's essence was obtained by the ancient sky pride of the Thunder Falcon tribe, and he was crowned as the new young emperor. In the following days, the 49 primordial emperor's essences that the divine predictor predicted appeared one by one. Countless sky prides, be it from the present or the past, joined the battle for the emperor's essence. Prodigies from all walks of life shone like stars in the sky, each having their own glory. Ao Chang from the sacred lands of serene wisdom, Princess Linglong from the royal Azure dynasty, Gu Chang'e, Lin Batian from the Jianghu Valley, Wu Chunzi from the Taishu Temple, the ancient prodigies, Hai Dong, Lin Qingshan. One after another, sky prides obtained the emperor's essence and became the new generation of young emperors. As for the older generation of young emperors, unless they could obtain the primordial emperor's essence, their names would be removed and they would be eliminated by time. Time passed. 3 years had passed. Within these 3 years, the entire firmament star had changed drastically due to the awakening of the ancient sky prides and the appearance of the primordial emperor's essence. The new generation of prodigy young emperors' names spread far and wide. As for Chu Kuangren, who had shocked the world 3 years ago, it was as if he had been forgotten by everyone. Gradually, no one mentioned him anymore. He had been in seclusion for 3 years, and there had been no news from him. The 49 wisps of primordial emperor's essence had been obtained by others one by one, and he had never come out to fight for them. Everyone thought this heaven's favorite, who shone so brightly 3 years ago, had been eliminated by the times. This person would no longer appear on the emperor's road. Instead, the most noteworthy person was his follower, Lan Yu. This woman was extremely talented. She had once appeared when the primordial emperor's essences appeared one after another, and she had single-handedly obtained an emperor's essence. There was a place for her among the current young emperors. At the beginning of the era of great battles, the divine predictor had once commented on the various sky prides, and he had once said this about Lan Yu: she was a peerless talent, and her future achievements would not be any weaker than the emperors of old. Just that one sentence alone made Lan Yu known to the world. Even those ancient sky prides with unparalleled combat strength could not overshadow her. Not any weaker than the emperors of old? What kind of concept was that? In a literal sense, it meant that Lan Yu could at least become an emperor. After all, even with the help of the primordial emperor's essence, the current young emperors did not have the confidence to become emperors in the future. The divine predictor's comment was too high. However, after obtaining the emperor's essence, Lan Yu did not make any more movements. She stayed in the Black Heaven sect, and no one had seen her again. Black Heaven sect, Towering Heaven Palace. Lan Yu sat under a large tree with a calm expression. Occasionally, she would glance at the house next to her with a look of longing. Beside her, Lil Bing rubbed her chin and said, "Sister Lan Yu, Master has been in seclusion for 3 years now. When will he come out?" "I don't know." Lan Yu shook her head. By the way, Sister Lan Yu, I heard that a few days ago, the young emperor of the winged human tribe came to look for you again and asked you to return. What did you say? Lil Bing suddenly asked curiously. I didn't agree. Only the place where Master lives is worthy of my return. As for the winged human tribe, I have nothing to do with them other than this identity. Lan Yu frowned slightly. The winged human tribe was a tribe in the Azure Dragon domain. In terms of strength, they were not that outstanding, and they were much weaker than the sage orthodoxies. However, 3 years ago, the winged human tribe awakened an ancient winged human sky pride from a deep slumber, and they even obtained an emperor's essence. Aside from that, when Lan Yu's name was known throughout the world, her identity as a winged human was also known to everyone. The people of the winged human tribe once came to the Black Heaven sect to bring her back, but she rejected them outright. Even so, the winged human tribe did not give up. Every few days, they would send people to the Black Heaven sect to persuade Lan Yu to return. If only Master was here. I'm sure he would have a way to stop you from worrying so much. Lil Bing sighed and said. If Master doesn't come out soon, the whole world will forget about him. Nowadays, all the new disciples who have joined the Black Heaven sect are talking about those young emperors. When they mention our Master, they'll forget about him in just a few words. When Master was at his prime, they didn't even know where he was. Lil Bing suddenly said angrily. Every time she heard people say that Chu Kuangren was outdated, she would argue with them. However, no matter how much she argued, it was an undeniable fact that Chu Kuangren's reputation was getting lower and lower. In the Black Heaven sect, other than the new disciples, most people still remembered their elder senior brother. However, in the outside world, Chu Kuangren's name had almost disappeared. The times had changed too quickly. Today, it was either this Sky Pride defeating an honorable or another Sky Pride breaking through to the next realm. Under the bombardment of such news, the things that Chu Kuangren had done 3 years ago were rarely mentioned by others. Ignore the others. We just need to remember it. Besides, when Master comes out of his closed-door meditation, the whole world will remember him too. Lan Yu smiled faintly with a determined look in her eyes. She believed that it was only temporary. Once Chu Kuangren came out of his closed-door meditation, the whole world would remember him sooner or later. There was once such a person who suppressed all the Sky Prides in the world. At that moment, there was a commotion in the house next door. A powerful Daoist rhyme soared into the sky. The whole Black Heaven sect was shaken, and the Sword Mountain let out a series of sword cries. Everyone looked in the direction of the towering Heaven Palace. Nangong Huang, Murong Xian, and the other Daoists were overjoyed. Chapter 114. Terrifying Daoist rhymes emanated from the towering Heaven Palace. Inside the Black Heaven Sword Mountain, tens of thousands of swords let out a roar and soared into the sky as if they were welcoming the awakening of the God of Swords. All the Black Heaven sect disciples were shocked. The new disciples did not know what was going on, but the older disciples were all excited as they looked in the direction of the towering Heaven Palace. Whoosh, 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 at that moment, streams of light flew across the sky. Those are the true disciples. No, not just the true disciples, there are Daoists too. Oh my God, isn't that the sect leader and the others? The entire Black Heaven sect was shocked. The true disciples, Daoists, and even the sect leader and elders were all shocked as they flew in the direction of the towering Heaven Palace. The new disciples were shocked to see such a scene. What the hell is going on? A disciple said in bewilderment. Next to him, a disciple who had been in the Black Heaven sect for decades smiled and said, because our elder senior brother has come out of closed-door meditation. The new disciple asked curiously, the legendary Chu Kuangren? Yes. No way, even if Chu Kuangren is our elder senior brother, it doesn't matter if he's out of closed-door meditation. Is there a need to make such a big scene? You'll understand in the future. The older disciple laughed. No, elder senior brother has come out of closed-door meditation. I have to go and see too. At that moment, a female cultivator could not hold back anymore. With that, the rest of the female cultivators also flew in the direction of the Daoist palace. Most of them were ecstatic and excited. Elder senior brother has finally come out of closed-door meditation. This is great. It's been 3 years, a full 3 years. A day without seeing him feels like 3 autumns, let alone 3 years. I've finally waited for him to come out. Sob sob, elder senior brother, I'm here. I can finally see elder senior brother's peerless beauty again. Looking at the group of female cultivators who seemed to have gone crazy, some disciples looked at each other in disbelief. Was Chu Kuangren really that charismatic? Inside the towering heaven palace, Honorable Xianxia, Elder Ruyan, and the others had arrived. Behind them were a group of true disciples and Daoists. Everyone sensed the soaring Daoist rhyme in the palace and could not help but be amazed. Honorable Xianxia was especially amazed. This sword-based Daoist rhyme is already above mine. Honorable Xianxia's words shocked the disciples behind him. After all, Honorable Xianxia and Honorable Swordsman White Cloud were known as the Azure Dragon Dual Swords. They were the 2 pinnacle swordsmen of the Azure Dragon domain. After the death of Honorable Swordsman White Cloud, no one would object to the claim that Honorable Xianxia was the #1 swordsman in the Azure Dragon domain. However, he claimed that Chu Kuangren's sword-based Daoist rhyme had surpassed his. As expected of eldest senior brother, Nangong Huang's face was filled with admiration. The other disciples looked at each other. When they remembered that this person was their eldest senior brother, they didn't feel so shocked anymore. Yes, eldest senior brother had done so many earth-shattering things in the past, so what was so strange about his sword Daoist rhyme surpassing the sect leader now? The Daoist rhyme lingered in the sky for a while. Then, the door of a room in the Daoist palace opened with a creak, and a young man in a white robe slowly walked out. His white robe was still spotless, and he wore a jade crown on his head. His black hair reached his waist, and his eyes were as bright as stars. Master! Lan Yu and Lil Bing greeted him excitedly. In the sky, the group of true disciples and the disciples who had just arrived were all excited and shouted in unison when they saw him. Welcome back, eldest senior brother. Welcome back, eldest senior brother. When some of the new disciples saw Chu Kuangren, they couldn't help but be impressed by his looks, but they were still a little puzzled. Did he really have that kind of charm just based on his looks? Did he make the Black Heaven sect and even the sect leader and elders value him so much? Even Honorable Xianxia might not have such prestige. Inside the Daoist palace, Chu Kuangren cupped his fists at the people in the sky and smiled. Junior brothers and sisters, long time no see. Honorable Xianxia came in front of him and laughed. You've been in closed-door meditation for 3 whole years. Do you know how many things you've missed in these 3 years? Everyone has forgotten about you now. Chu Kuangren smiled casually. No worries, I'll just make them remember when the time comes. Tell me, what have you learned in these 3 years? Honorable Xianxia did not believe that Chu Kuangren would go into closed-door meditation for 3 years for no reason. Yes, I've learned a little. Chu Kuangren smiled and nodded. In fact, he did not expect to go into closed-door meditation for 3 years. The Eternal Emperor scripture was too mysterious. He was immersed in it, and before he knew it, 3 years had gone by. However, his gains were also very big. The first was the level of his Tao techniques. Although he had yet to fully understand the Eternal Emperor scripture, his Tao techniques had a substantial breakthrough, far surpassing his previous closed-door meditation. He believed that if he was given some time, he could raise the heaven-slaying sword-drawing technique to the level of an emperor technique. When that time came, his single sword destruction technique would be considered complete. I'm afraid it's not as simple as just a little. How could Honorable Xianxia not understand Chu Kuangren? After 3 years of closed-door meditation, how could it be described as just a little? That Daoist rhyme alone made his heart palpitate. However, Chu Kuangren was still his disciple, so the stronger he was, the more comforted he was. Hence, he did not pursue the matter. After Chu Kuangren came out of his closed-door meditation, he reminisced with the crowd. In the towering heaven palace, Chu Kuangren, Murong Xian, Nangong Huang, and the others gathered to discuss the recent happenings. Chu Kuangren also took the opportunity to understand the situation of the world. After 3 years of closed-door meditation, the changes were indeed huge. Now, the world was filled with skyprides from all walks of life, and it was extremely exciting. The changes in Firmament Star are unprecedented. The appearance of 49 surges of primordial emperors' essences has created 38 young emperors. Among them, the Black Warrior Domain's Overlord Sage Tribe's young emperor is the most outstanding. He alone has 3 emperors' essences, and he's known as the most promising skypride to become an emperor. Besides these 38 young emperors, there are also some ancient skyprides who did not obtain the emperor's essences, but their combat strength and talent are still very outstanding. Among them, the 10 unparalleled heroes are the most famous, Nangong Huang said slowly. What about the strong cultivators of the older generation? Aren't they tempted by the appearance of the emperor's essences? Chu Kuangren asked curiously. Yes, there was once an honorable who tried to fight for the emperor's essences, but he was killed by a sage with just a finger. Nangong Huang's tone was still a little shocked when he mentioned this. An honorable was an extremely powerful existence to them, but in front of a sage, they were as insignificant as ants. The sages seem to have reached some kind of agreement to not allow cultivators above the honorable realm to fight for the emperor's essences. I heard from the sect leader that the opportunity to become an emperor does not lie with the sages, Murong Xian said with a frown. He still could not understand what that meant. Chu Kuangren was deep in thought. When he was studying the emperor's scripture, he had a very clear understanding of the Tao and the world. He vaguely came into contact with some heavenly mysteries that only sages could perceive. That was, the luck of this era did not lie with the sages, but with the younger skyprides. If there was someone who could become an emperor in this era, that person would definitely be one of the younger skyprides. Perhaps that was the reason why the sages did not fight for the emperor's essences. Even if they obtained the emperor's essences, they would not be able to become emperors. Chapter 115. After catching up with Nangong Huang and the others, Chu Kuangren had a general understanding of the current firmament star. After everyone had left, Lan Yu showed him an item. This is, the primordial emperor's essence? Chu Kuangren was shocked to see the golden aura in Lan Yu's hand. This primordial emperor's essence was very mysterious. It was surrounded by mysterious runes, and one could vaguely hear Daoist rhymes echoing in their ears. If other cultivators saw this emperor's essence, they would be extremely excited and shocked by the Daoist rhymes it contained. However, other than the initial shock, Chu Kuangren's gaze remained calm as if he did not care about it at all. The Daoist rhymes in this emperor's essence were much weaker than those in the emperor's scripture. The primordial emperor's essence could only increase a cultivator's chances of becoming an emperor, but the eternal emperor's scripture was written by an emperor's lifetime achievement. It was much more valuable than the primordial emperor's essence. If the primordial emperor's essence was considered a legendary item, then it would be the most common legendary item. The eternal emperor's scripture, on the other hand, was a top-tier legendary item. Lan Yu, are you giving me the emperor's essence? Chu Kuangren smiled at Lan Yu. Yes. This is the primordial emperor's essence. Although it could not compare to the emperor's scripture, this primordial emperor's essence was enough to make all orthodoxies go crazy. One emperor's essence was enough to create a young emperor. Not a young emperor like Lei Ao or Shang Han, but a young great emperor who had the potential to become an emperor. Everything I have, including myself, belongs to you, master. If you want it, I can give it to you, Lan Yu said seriously. Her original intention of stealing the primordial emperor's essence was for Chu Kuangren. She thought that her master might need it, so she took it. I don't need it. You can keep it for yourself. Chu Kuangren reached out and ruffled Lan Yu's hair with a hint of pity in his eyes. Lan Yu blushed and nodded. Since you've taken the emperor's essence, you should find a time to merge it with it. Since I'm out of my closed-door meditation, let me protect you. Thank you, master. The news of Chu Kuangren coming out of his closed-door meditation had spread throughout the entire Black Heaven sect. Within a few days, every orthodoxy in the Azure Dragon domain had heard about it as well. In Xiang Valley, a purple-haired young man was holding a communication compass in his hand. He had just received news that Chu Kuangren had come out of his closed-door meditation. He smiled, and a hint of coldness shot out from his eyes. Chu Kuangren, you're finally out. Times are different now. I'll let you see how you've been eliminated by this era. Spirit Illusion Holy Land. A.O. Chang, who had received news of Chu Kuangren, laughed out loud with an ecstatic expression on his face. Chu Kuangren, you've finally appeared. 3 years ago, I will definitely return the humiliation you brought me. Just you wait. His whole body surged with majestic spiritual power, and his palm blasted out like a great sun, shattering a mountain in the distance on the spot. My current self is far stronger than when I was at my peak. I'm confident that I can even take on an honorable, let alone someone like you, Chu Kuangren. In the Royal Azure Dynasty, Crown Prince Gu Chang'e was talking to the Royal Azure Dynasty King. Father, Chu Kuangren has been in closed-door meditation for 3 years. If it were in the past, it wouldn't be a big deal, but these 3 years have changed too much. The ancient sky prides and the primordial emperor's essences have all appeared, and he has long been eliminated by this era. He's no longer suitable to be the fiancé of the Royal Azure Dynasty. Father, please allow me to bring some people to the Black Heaven sect, to cancel the engagement. Gu Chang'e could not suppress the excitement in his eyes. He could not wait to humiliate Chu Kuangren. Who said anything about canceling the engagement? At that moment, Princess Linglong, who was dressed in a gorgeous phoenix robe, walked into the hall. Her beautiful face was covered with a layer of frost. Gu Chang'e frowned. Linglong, you're not only the princess of the Royal Azure Dynasty, but you're also a famous young emperor. That Chu Kuangren is no longer suitable for you. Canceling the engagement is the wisest choice. Brother, this is my business. It's not up to you to decide. Besides, marriage is not a child's play. Do you think it's so easy to cancel it? Back then, when I held the martial arts competition and cancelled it midway, I've already broken my promise to the world. Now that I've chosen Chu Kuangren as the fiancé, everyone knows about it. Now that I see him in such dire straits, how do you expect the world to see me? Are you heartless and untrustworthy, or are you just a man? Towards the end of her sentence, Princess Linglong was almost shouting angrily. Gu Chang'e was almost at a loss for words after being questioned by her. His face turned pale. How dare you? I'm your brother. If you weren't my brother, I wouldn't be here questioning you. I would have taken you down a long time ago, Princess Linglong said coldly. You, all right, both of you, shut up. The Royal Azure Dynasty King stopped the two of them and said, whether or not to cancel the engagement is entirely up to Linglong. She's not wrong. If she were to cancel the engagement now, it would not only affect her reputation, but also the reputation of the dynasty. Let's drop this matter. There's no need to discuss it anymore. Chu Kuangren is still the fiancé of the Royal Azure Dynasty. Now that he's out of closed-door meditation, Crown Prince, prepare some gifts to congratulate him. Although Gu Chang'e was unwilling, his eyes lit up when he heard that the Royal Azure Dynasty King wanted him to go to the Black Heaven sect. Yes, father. Beside him, Princess Linglong said, "I'll go too." "Granted. Thank you, father." Chu Kuangren, who had disappeared for 3 years, had reappeared in the world. This news shocked countless cultivators in the Azure Dragon domain. Following that, there were rumors that Ao Chang from the sacred lands of serene wisdom, Lin Batian from the Jianghu Valley, Yuan Hong from the Dharma sect, Wuchen Zi from the Taishu Temple, and Gu Chang'e from the Royal Azure Dynasty were heading to the Black Heaven sect. All of a sudden, the cultivators in the Azure Dragon domain were in an uproar. These skyprides are all young emperors who obtained the emperor's essence in the past 3 years. What are they doing at the Black Heaven sect now? Needless to say, of course they're going to look for Chu Kuangren. TSK, 3 years ago, Chu Kuangren suppressed these skyprides to the point where they could not even lift their heads. Now that these people have obtained the primordial emperor's essence and become world-renowned young emperors, of course they're going to take revenge. I would have forgotten if you didn't mention it. 3 years ago, the world belonged to Chu Kuangren alone. Everyone says that in the era of great battles, the stars will shine brightly, but he alone was like a blazing sun that overshadowed everyone else's light. How could these skyprides take this lying down? What a pity. If Chu Kuangren did not go into closed-door meditation, he would definitely have a share of the primordial emperor's essence. With his talent, he could have continued to suppress everyone else, but he just had to go into closed-door meditation at such a crucial time. I really can't understand why. Nothing is constant. Who would have thought that? After 3 years of closed-door meditation, he's already leading the world. Honestly, based on this alone, none of the young emperors who went to look for him can compare to him. The entire Azure Dragon domain was filled with rumors and discussions. Everyone had their eyes on the Black Heaven sect. Everyone wanted to see how Chu Kuangren, who had declared war on the world 3 years ago and suppressed all the skyprides to the point where they could not even lift their heads, would deal with this. Chapter 116. Black Heaven Sect, Towering Heaven Palace. Lan Yu was integrating the primordial emperor's essence while Chu Kuangren stood guard outside to test Lil Bing's cultivation progress over the past few years. Although Lil Bing was only an outer sect disciple, she was considered quite talented among cultivators. Otherwise, she would not have entered the Black Heaven sect. Over the past few years, with the help of Towering Heaven Palace's spirit-gathering formation and various resources, she had improved rapidly and was not far from the Paradise realm. She would be a Daoist in any orthodoxy. Your waterfall sword art is not bad, but it's still lacking a little. Come, watch me. Chu Kuangren unleashed his Daoist rhyme and a silvery white waterfall suddenly formed in the void. The sword-based Daoist rhyme was extremely mysterious. Lil Bing watched from the side and could not help but exclaim, "That's amazing." She had seen several elders use the waterfall sword art before, but even they were not as skilled as Chu Kuangren. It was as natural as moving clouds and flowing water. Under Chu Kuangren's guidance, Lil Bing improved rapidly. "Alright, go to the side and practice," Chu Kuangren said. Chu Kuangren leaned against the tree and muttered the fantasy roulette in his heart. Looking at the familiar roulette in front of him, his heart ached. It had been 3 years. He had been in closed-door meditation for 3 years. He had been so engrossed in the Emperor's scripture that he had not even played the lottery once. In the 365 days of a year, he had missed more than 1,000 lottery draws. How many treasures had he missed out on? Lottery draw. The roulette spun quickly. Congratulations, host, for drawing a supreme godly attribute, Lucky Halo. Hiss, Chu Kuangren gasped in shock. He felt dizzy. What did he just hear? Supreme godly? F***CK. When he drew 10 consecutive lucky draws, he was at most a supreme godly attribute. Now, it had given him a supreme godly attribute. Could it be that the fantasy roulette had malfunctioned? Or could it be that his accumulated luck had exploded after 3 years of not playing the lottery draw? Lil Bing, come here. Chu Kuangren called Lil Bing over and pinched her face. Does it hurt? Yes. Lil Bing looked at Chu Kuangren pitifully. Then I'm not dreaming. Chu Kuangren loosened his grip and rubbed Lil Bing's face. Alright, go back to your training. Young master is so annoying. Lil Bing stomped her feet and snorted arrogantly. Chu Kuangren laughed foolishly on the spot for a while before he retrieved his lucky halo. He did not feel any changes at all. According to the introduction, the lucky halo could give a person extraordinary luck. In other words, he could turn misfortune into fortune and misfortune into fortune. He could even encounter a divine beast that recognized him as its master, pick up a fire stick that could be a peerless godly weapon, and buy another bottle of drink. To Chu Kuangren, this would definitely be very useful. After all, luck was what he relied on to win the lottery. With this halo, his luck would be off the charts. Just as Chu Kuangren was fantasizing about how lucky he was, a powerful surge of Daoist rhyme erupted from Lan Yu's room. Rays of white light converged in the air, and a vast sacred radiant intent emanated. Soon after, a white crown condensed. Within the crown, Dao beads condensed one after another. It was actually a supreme foundation, the 9-pearl crown. This phenomenon startled many people in the Black Heaven sect. This is a supreme foundation. This aura belongs to Lady Lan Yu. She has broken through to the battle monarch realm and even condensed the 9-pearl crown. How extraordinary! It seems that the divine predictor's evaluation was right. This woman is indeed a peerless beauty. Her future achievements will not be any weaker than the emperors of old. The phenomenon lasted for a while. Then, the phenomenon dissipated and Lan Yu walked out. Master. Lan Yu, congratulations on successfully integrating the primordial emperor's essence, breaking through to the battle monarch realm, and condensing the 9-pearl crown. Chu Kuangren went up to congratulate her. Lan Yu smiled. I guess it was all luck. When I was integrating the primordial emperor's essence, I suddenly felt something and tried to break through to the battle monarch realm. Initially, the foundation I condensed was only the 7-pearl crown. However, at the critical moment, a powerful force appeared in my body and helped me condense the 9-pearl crown. Later on, I found out that it was the power of the scepter of light in my body. It must have been affected by the primordial emperor's essence, and this sage ruler weapon regained some of its power. The scepter of light was a sage ruler weapon that Chu Kuangren had obtained from Yuan Ling's treasury. However, due to the impact of a mysterious battle, it was downgraded to an ordinary sage weapon. He did not expect it to be so useful to Lan Yu today, helping her to condense a supreme foundation. Speaking of which, this is all because of my good luck. If not for my holy radiant physique, the scepter of light, and the primordial emperor's essence, I wouldn't have been able to condense this 9-pearl crown, Lan Yu said. Luck? Chu Kuangren's eyes suddenly lit up. He had just drawn the lucky halo. Could it be that this lucky halo not only had an effect on him, but it could also enhance the luck of those around him? Could this be the legendary, getting lucky? At that thought, Chu Kuangren was overjoyed. He had not drawn the lottery for 3 years, but this time, he had drawn a grand prize. The next day, after Chu Kuangren washed up, he opened the lucky draw roulette and began to draw as usual. He rubbed his palms together, his eyes filled with anticipation. It was time to test his luck. In that case, what was the use of the so-called lucky halo? Congratulations, host. You've drawn the starlight technique, phantom light strike. Starlight? The smile on Chu Kuangren's face grew wider and wider until he finally laughed out loud. Waha, it's true. I've really become the king of luck. Outside the door, Lan Yu was just about to knock on the door when she heard Chu Kuangren's laughter. She hesitated for a moment and decided to call him master later. After a while, the laughter gradually stopped. With a creak, the room door opened. Master. Lan Yu, how long have you been here? Chu Kuangren was a little embarrassed. Did she hear him laughing like an idiot in the room just now? How awkward would that be? Lan Yu smiled faintly. Just arrived. Since Master did not want others to notice his weird behavior, she decided to leave him some face. Ahem, that's good. Is there anything? Chu Kuangren asked. Someone has come to visit. It's Gu Chang'e and Princess Linglong from the Royal Azure Dynasty, Lan Yu said. Oh, it's them. Chu Kuangren was quite surprised. Then let's go meet them. After all, I'm the fiancé of the Royal Azure Dynasty. Xiantian Palace, Longevity Hall. The Royal Azure Dynasty's crown prince, Gu Chang'e, and Princess Linglong were both seated with Elder Rian personally attending to them. A few disciples beside them curiously looked at them, especially the female cultivators, who gritted their teeth and stared at Princess Linglong. This woman is married to our elder senior brother. Ah, how infuriating. Although they were unhappy, the female cultivators had to admit that Princess Linglong was the cream of the crop among the female cultivators in the firmament star, be it in terms of looks, temperament, qualifications, cultivation level, or status. In everyone's opinion, there were only a few who could compare to her. Elder senior brother is here. At that moment, outside the Longevity Hall, Chu Kuangren arrived with Lan Yu in his wide-sleeved robe. Princess Linglong immediately looked over and a strange look flashed across her eyes. 3 years had passed, but he still did not change at all. He was still as gentle as jade, dashing in the wind, handsome and unrestrained, ethereal, outstanding, and peerless in his generation. Chapter 117. Chu Kuangren. Seeing Chu Kuangren again after 3 years, Gu Chang'e's eyes lit up as she sized him up from head to toe. It had been 3 years. Ever since he obtained the primordial emperor's essence, he had never slacked off and had been cultivating diligently until now. All of it was to defeat Chu Kuangren one day. Brother Chu, you've been in closed-door meditation for 3 years. How have you been? Gu Chang'e's lips curled up as he greeted Chu Kuangren. However, his tone was playful. His meaning was obvious. He was telling Chu Kuangren that things had changed too quickly in the past 3 years, and it was no longer the time when Chu Kuangren could dominate the world. Yes, it's been 3 years. Things have changed too much, but some people never change. Crown Prince, for example, you're still the same person you are. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Gu Chang'e's face darkened when he heard that. Chu Kuangren, you're too presumptuous. Yes, Crown Prince, your expression makes me feel much better. We don't have to be so polite. Chu Kuangren smiled. Alright, brother, that's enough. Princess Linglong interrupted Gu Chang'e. She walked towards Chu Kuangren and smiled sweetly. Fiancé, I've specially brought some spiritual nourishing treasures from the palace for your return from closed-door meditation. I hope you'll like them. Chu Kuangren was not used to Princess Linglong calling him fiancé, but he still accepted her kindness with a smile. The few of them sat together and began to chat. However, before they could talk much, Gu Chang'e suddenly said, Chu Kuangren, I believe you've gained a lot from your closed-door meditation. I'd like to challenge you to a duel. Do you dare to accept my challenge? He had been suppressing himself for 3 years, and he could not wait to defeat Chu Kuangren. This was also the reason he came to the Black Heaven sect. I thought you'd have to hold it in for a while longer. I didn't expect you to be so impatient. Chu Kuangren chuckled. Humph, cut the crap. Do you dare to fight me? Sure, I'll fulfill your wish. Chu Kuangren nodded slightly. He was never afraid of a battle. Gu Chang'e was delighted when he heard that. He then walked out of the hall and got into a fighting stance, ready to fight. Many disciples gathered around, looking as if they were watching a show. Gu Chang'e is going to compete with eldest brother. This man has the primordial emperor's essence and is the current young emperor. Will elder senior brother be a match for him? You're new, right? You don't know eldest senior brother. 3 years ago, Gu Chang'e couldn't even take one strike from eldest senior brother. Even if he had the primordial emperor's essence, he would at most take a few more strikes. Really? Is eldest senior brother really that powerful? Of course. Eldest senior brother has many miraculous abilities. Most of the disciples in the Black Heaven sect were extremely confident in Chu Kuangren, and this made Gu Chang'e, who was at the side, furious. An incredibly powerful Daoist rhyme suddenly exploded from his body. The spiritual qi condensed into a solid dragon that circled above him and roared. A terrifying dragon might suppress everyone present. Those with slightly weaker cultivations were directly pressed to the ground on the spot. At that moment, a powerful aura erupted from the crowd of disciples and blocked the dragon might. It was Daoist Nangong Huang who had made his move. His eyes were filled with yin and yang qi as he stared at Gu Chang'e and said coldly, "Is this all you can do, Crown Prince?" Gu Chang'e glanced at him. "I'm teaching them what it means to say that trouble comes from the mouth. Don't let them gossip. They're telling the truth. You dare to challenge me, but you won't allow others to speak the truth?" Chu Kuangren said as he walked out. With every step he took, the Taoist rhyme on his body became stronger, and a white lotus appeared in the void, quietly disintegrating the coercion emanating from Gu Chang'e's body, like the spring wind and rain, nourishing everything silently. Chu Kuangren had mastered the white lotus light of purification to perfection. Gu Chang'e's gaze froze when he saw that. Only then did he come back to his senses. Even if Chu Kuangren did not have the primordial emperor's essence, he was still the world's top sky pride. 3 years ago, he was able to suppress everyone to the point where they could not even lift their heads. Even if the times had changed, he was still not to be underestimated. That's good too. Only then will he be worthy of being defeated by me. Gu Chang'e said with bright eyes. Just when he was about to make his move, a powerful Daoist rhyme fluctuation came from afar and a figure flew towards him. It was a purple-haired young man with colorful flames surging around his body. His Daoist rhyme was domineering like a raging flame. It was the sky pride of Jianghu Valley, Lin Batian. Chu Kuangren can only be defeated by me. Lin Batian said as soon as he appeared and stared at Chu Kuangren. Just like Gu Chang'e, he was also here to challenge Chu Kuangren. He's mine. Another cold voice echoed in the sky as a figure flew towards them like a meteor and landed on the ground. The ground shook and cracked. Amidst the dust, a black-robed young man walked out with his head held high. It was the young emperor of the Serene Wisdom Sacred Lands, Ao Chang. F***ck me, it's Ao Chang from the Serene Wisdom Sacred Lands, the sky pride from 30,000 years ago and the current young emperor. He's here too. There's also Lin Batian from Jianghu Valley. I heard that this person has mastered a type of sacred flame and his combat strength is unparalleled. Ordinary honorables are no match for him. Even among the young emperors, these two are among the best. I can't believe they're here for elder senior brother too. Look, someone's here again. At that moment, flowers fell from the sky as all kinds of Daoist rhymes appeared. There were wind, fire, mountains, and rivers. A white-robed young man came with the 4 elements of earth, wind, and fire. It was Yuanhong from the Dharma sect. Brother Chu, long time no see. I'm here to defeat you today. Yuanhong's eyes were bright as he made his presence known. Is there anyone else who's coming? If you don't show yourself now, you won't have the chance anymore. Chu Kuangren looked around and said. Heh, Brother Chu, it's been a while. Oh, there's someone else. Chu Kuangren looked towards the source of the voice and saw Taishu Temple's Wuchen Zi in a Daoist robe walking towards him. There was an otherworldly aura about him that made him extraordinary. Brother Wuchen, don't tell me you're here for a duel too. I've learned a lot from my sparring session with you, Brother Chu. Today, I'd like to spar with you again, Wuchen Zi said. Losing to Chu Kuangren in the sparring session had always been a knot in his heart. Today, he was here to untie that knot. Sai, I guess you'll have to queue up for a while. Chu Kuangren pointed at Gu Chang'e and the others. The Black Heaven sect disciples were dumbfounded. What was going on? Elder Senior Brother had only come out of closed-door meditation for a few days, yet so many Sky Prides were here to challenge him? What did Elder Senior Brother do to these people back then? Some of the new disciples were filled with question marks. Far away, Elder Ruyan, Honorable Xianxia, and the others were watching. Sect leader, are we just going to let these juniors do whatever they want? Elder Ruyan frowned and said. If not for Honorable Xianxi's permission, Lin Batian and the others would not have been able to enter the Black Heaven sect as they pleased. They would have been thrown out the moment they stepped into the mountain gate. It's fine, let them do whatever they want. Besides, I want to see what level Kuangren has reached. Honorable Xianxia laughed. Chapter 118. I was here first. Let me be the first to fight him. Gu Chang'e glanced at Ao Chang, Lin Batian, and the others coldly. Ao Chang replied indifferently, I've already said that he's my prey. Only I can defeat him. You guys will have to queue behind me. Oh, could it be that before we fight Chu Kuangren, the few of us are going to have another match? Yuan Hong asked calmly. They all wanted to be the first to defeat Chu Kuangren, and no one would give in. Chu Kuangren, on the other hand, smiled playfully and said, there's no need to go through all that trouble. I have a suggestion. Everyone turned to look at him. He continued, all of you can come at me together. Ao Chang's eyes flashed with anger upon hearing this. Chu Kuangren, I can't believe you're still so arrogant even after 3 years. You can no longer do whatever you want in this era. You're outdated. Lin Batian said coldly. Then, he raised his hand and channeled his spiritual power. A colorful flame appeared and transformed into a ferocious flaming beast. Compared to 3 years ago, Chu Kuangren was much more proficient in controlling the sacred flame. Moreover, with the primordial emperor's essence in his body, his understanding of Daoist techniques had improved by leaps and bounds. The power of the sacred flame was much stronger than it was 3 years ago. Even an honorable might not be able to block that attack. Chu Kuangren's expression did not change in the face of the sudden attack. However, his body began to blur in the void. The next moment, his entire body seemed to have turned into a ray of light and disappeared on the spot. His speed was so fast that no one could catch him. What technique is that? What a fast movement speed. This Daoist rhyme. I'm afraid it's some kind of sage ruler technique. Lin Batian and the others were shocked. 3 years ago, Chu Kuangren had never displayed such a cultivation technique. Sage ruler technique, phantom light strike. Lin Baishan's spiritual thought surged as he tried to locate Chu Kuangren. However, an indifferent voice suddenly came from behind him. Is that all you've improved in the past 3 years? Behind him. Lin Baishan's expression changed as he turned around and unleashed a palm attack. However, another hand was faster than him. Chu Kuangren stretched out his palm and slapped towards Lin Baishan's face. In the eyes of the crowd, the palm that was not thick and could even be said to be as fair as jade was like an ancient divine mountain, incomparably majestic. Bang! The slap landed squarely on Lin Baishan's face, shattering his saint flame and sending him flying thousands of feet away. Saint technique, human mountain stamp. With Chu Kuangren's current cultivation level, the sage ruler technique could already reach the point where he could summon the strength of a godly mountain with just a wave of his hand. So powerful. Gu Chang'e's pupils shrank slightly. Golden spiritual power flowed around his body, and his dragon vein Taoism form was activated to the extreme. He threw a punch at Chu Kuangren, and the roar of a dragon reverberated through the clouds. Dragon Killing Fist. A gigantic golden dragon shadow lunged towards Chu Kuangren with its jaws wide open. The terrifying might caused the void to tremble violently. This trick again. Don't you have any new tricks up your sleeves? Chu Kuangren shook his head as he lifted his right hand and gave it a light clap. The seemingly majestic dragon was directly smashed like a bubble, and its Daoist rhyme and spiritual power completely collapsed. Gu Chang'e almost vomited blood when he saw that. His dragon-killing fist had long reached the full mastery level. It was a sage technique with infinite power. With his current cultivation level, even an honorable would be killed if they were not careful. Yet, Chu Kuangren had easily smashed it into pieces. Was there any justice in this world? As for new tricks? F***CKU, where did you get so many sage techniques from? After smashing the dragon into pieces, Chu Kuangren's figure once again became illusory. He turned into a stream of light and appeared in front of Gu Chang'e almost instantly. Gu Chang'e did not even have time to react. Too fast. That speed was just too fast. Chu Kuangren slowly raised his hand and unleashed another palm attack. The majestic human mountain strength immediately erupted from his palm. Gu Chang'e was hit in the chest, and his protective spiritual power was shattered. His chest almost caved in, and his whole body was blasted away like a cannonball. Waves of air surged in the air, and he was directly smashed into a mountain far away. That's the second one, Chu Kuangren said calmly. Then, his gaze fell on Yuanhong of the Dharma sect. Yuanhong was shocked. He activated his spiritual power and manifested his Daoist rhymes. His feet moved in a mysterious manner, and his speed was as fast as a gust of wind. At the same time, he activated another offensive technique. This technique was all-encompassing and extremely mysterious, and it seemed to contain a natural force within it. Chu Kuangren, you shall be defeated. Yuanhong attacked Chu Kuangren as he moved. With a palm attack, the earth, wind, water, and fire techniques exploded in the center of his palm, but Chu Kuangren still shattered his opponent's attack with just a light palm attack. How can this guy be so strong? Yuanhong was extremely shocked. He used his speed to move around Chu Kuangren. You're using the Dharma sect's heavenly windborne technique. This technique is known for its fast movement speed. You've mastered it quite well. Chu Kuangren smiled. Yuanhong's expression changed slightly. He remembered that Chu Kuangren had learned 8,000 techniques in the Steel Forest in half a day, and learned all the supreme techniques and sage techniques in 16 hours. That was unprecedented. Chu Kuangren knew every technique that Yuanhong had used. Just as Yuanhong was reminiscing about the past, a ray of light suddenly appeared in front of him. It was Chu Kuangren, who had caught up to him in the blink of an eye. Your speed is not bad, but can you outrun the speed of light? Phantom Light Strike, this sage ruler technique was just like its name, it was as fast as a ray of light. What else in this world could be faster than the speed of light? While Yuanhong was still in shock, Chu Kuangren's palm rapidly enlarged in his eyes before it landed on his face. Just like Gu Chang'e and Lin Batian, Yuanhong was also sent flying. It's your turn. Chu Kuangren looked at Ao Chang. D***Mnet. Shield of the Mountain God. Ao Chang's expression changed drastically as he activated a sage ruler technique. Majestic spiritual qi gathered in front of him, and a heavy Daoist rhyme formed into a huge mountain. It was a top-notch defensive technique. Chu Kuangren raised his hand and activated the spiritual power within his body. The 5 supreme foundation levels in his spiritual mound radiated with boundless divine light at the same time. The power of the human mountain erupted, and with a single slap, the huge mountain in front of Chu Kuangren shattered. The violent impact landed on Ao Chang, causing his body to tremble and fly out uncontrollably. Beside him, Wuchen Zi gulped as he watched. Suddenly, Chu Kuangren turned into a ray of light and appeared in front of him. He smiled and said, "Brother Wuchen, why don't you fly for a while as well?" With a single slap, Wuchen Zi was also blasted away. The surrounding Black Heaven sect disciples were dumbfounded. It was too terrifying. Gu Chang'e, Ao Chang, Lin Batian, Yuanhong, and Wuchen Zi were all young emperors. Any one of them could easily suppress the younger generation of cultivators, but in front of Chu Kuangren, they were as helpless as children. One slap for one. Is this our elder senior brother? He's too powerful. F***ck me, is this our elder senior brother? I love it. Chapter 119. Not far away, Lan Yu watched Chu Kuangren kill a young emperor with a single slap. Her eyes were filled with admiration and fanaticism, like the most devout believer. She knew that no one in this world could compare to the young master. As long as he wanted to, the world would remember him. Beside Lan Yu, Princess Linglong's eyes lit up and she could not help but lick her lips. This was her prince consort. He was indeed undefeatable. As expected of the young master. As expected of the prince consort. The two women said in unison. Then, they looked at each other, turned their heads and snorted. In the distance, Honorable Xianqi, Elder Ruyan, and the others also witnessed this scene. As expected of my disciple. Even without the primordial emperor's essence, you can still suppress the current generation. Honorable Xianqi laughed heartily. But where did Kuangren get so many sage ruler techniques? Elder Ruyan frowned slightly, realizing that things were not as simple as they seemed. Sage ruler techniques were extremely rare, and even the Black Heaven sect did not have any of them. However, Chu Kuangren had used almost all of them. This was unbelievable. Kuangren is a man of great fortune. Look, the heaven-slaying sword-drawing technique was also created by him, and the White Lotus light of purification was taught by the school of White Lotus. As for the other techniques, he must have had other opportunities as well. Maybe. This child is full of surprises. Elder Ruyan shook her head and stopped thinking about it. All in all, Chu Kuangren was the elder senior brother of the Black Heaven sect. The more outstanding he was, the better it would be for the Black Heaven sect. Elder senior brother has been in seclusion for 3 years. Even though he missed out on the opportunity to obtain the primordial emperor's essence, he's still able to suppress the young emperor. He's too strong. That's right, as expected of eldest senior brother. What young emperor? It's just a matter of one palm. Nangong Huang, Murong Xian, and the others looked at each other and smiled. They looked at the white-robed figure with fervent gazes. The other disciples were in awe and awe. Chu Kuangren stood where he was with his hands behind his back. A gentle breeze blew past, causing the corners of his clothes to flutter. His peerless beauty was dazzling and mesmerizing. What? You've only improved a little in the past 3 years? Just like that, who gave you the courage to challenge me? Chu Kuangren said calmly. Damn it, how can he be so strong? Gu Chang'e walked out of a pile of rubble, clutching her chest, her face full of horror. Not only him, but the others were also extremely shocked. After all, in the past 3 years, they had improved tremendously with the help of the primordial emperor's essence. Most of the older generation cultivators were no match for them, but how could they be so weak before Chu Kuangren? One palm. He couldn't even take a light palm strike from him. They knew that Chu Kuangren's forte lay in swordsmanship, yet he was able to crush them without even using his sword. What would happen if he used a sword? Terrifying. I don't believe it. Ao Chang gritted his teeth. As an ancient skypride who had the primordial emperor's essence, his combat strength was unparalleled. 3 years ago, he was suppressed by Chu Kuangren. Would he still be suppressed 3 years later? Sage Ruler Magic, Sunfall. Ao Chang gathered his spiritual energy and punched out. Violent Daoist rhymes intertwined, forming a terrifying sun. Meanwhile, Gu Chang'e, Yuanhong, Wuchen Zi, and Lin Batian also activated their own techniques and Daoist rhymes, unleashing their ultimate techniques. For mystical arts, go. Dragon Slaughter Fist. Heavenly Blaze Prairie. Sunlight Destruction. Earth, wind, water, fire, the power of the 4 mystical arts, the domineering dragon-shaped fist energy, and the burning sacred flame almost distorted the void. The sun rose from the sky and locked onto Chu Kuangren. A golden ray of light pierced through the air. The Skyprides joined forces and unleashed an incredibly powerful attack. All sorts of Daoist rhymes circulated and shook the void. Faced with these attacks, Chu Kuangren smiled and a sword appeared in his hand. The sword looked like it was carved out of white jade, crystal clear and flawless. Sacred Sword, Descendant Self. With the Descendant Self in his hand, Chu Kuangren slashed horizontally. The dazzling purple sword light gushed out, and several terrifying energies fiercely collided with each other in the void, causing a terrifying explosion. The ground shook, the void distorted, and the impact was like waves, one after another. Under this shockwave, the Skyprides were all sent flying. Battle Monarch Domain. Ao Chang let out a shout. An invisible force field locked onto Chu Kuangren. Gu Chang'e, Yuanhong, Lin Batian, and Wuchen Zi also activated their domains. In the past 3 years, they had long reached the Battle Monarch realm. Their domain energy covered the sky and crushed towards Chu Kuangren. Each domain was a layer of shackles. 5 domains were 5 layers of shackles. Moreover, all 5 of them were young emperors, so their domain energy far exceeded that of an ordinary battle monarch. It could even suppress an honorable. Chu Kuangren felt the surrounding void change. The air became extremely viscous as if he had fallen into a quagmire. Every time he moved, he had to expend far more energy than before. Is this a domain? Speaking of which, I've already reached the Battle Monarch realm 3 years ago. However, I've never tried this domain on anyone. Come and take a look. Chu Kuangren smiled and a surge of domain energy emerged from his body. It only lasted for an instant. The domain energy that Ao Chang, Gu Chang'e, and the others had unleashed was repelled by an even more terrifying force field. With a bang, the domain energy that was rebounded landed on the 5 of them, catching them off guard and causing them to suffer from the backlash. Not only that, but Chu Kuangren's domain energy also landed on them and instantly pressed them to the ground. That domain energy was too terrifying. Their domains paled in comparison to it. How can his domain be so powerful? It's too terrifying. Gu Chang'e and the others were pressed to the ground. Their bodies trembled as they tried their best to channel the spiritual power within their bodies to resist that force. However, the power of this domain not only suppressed their physical bodies, but also their spiritual powers. Now, they felt like the spiritual power within their bodies was like a pool of stagnant water. No matter how they channeled it, there was not much fluctuation. They could not believe that Chu Kuangren's domain was this powerful. This domain isn't bad. Chu Kuangren smiled. He was quite satisfied with his domain. Chu Kuangren's foundation was too terrifying. With a Supreme 9-level Daoist foundation, a Supreme 9-vein golden core, a Supreme 9-colored nascent soul, a Supreme 9th-grade purple palace, and a Supreme 9-jeweled crown, there were only a few in the history of Firmament Star who had such a foundation. It was because of such a foundation that he was able to unleash such a powerful domain. He was absolutely invincible among those in the same realm. Chu Kuangren calmly looked at the people who were pressed to the ground and said, 3 years ago, I could suppress you to the point where you couldn't even lift your heads. 3 years later, I can still make you kneel on the ground obediently. Do you really think you can fight me just because you've obtained a so-called primordial emperor's essence and are called young emperors? What a joke. After that, Chu Kuangren retracted his domain. Ao Chang and the others felt their bodies relax as they regained their mobility. However, they did not relax at all. On the contrary, they were extremely depressed as a sense of helplessness arose in their hearts. It had been 3 years. In order to defeat Chu Kuangren for the past 3 years, they had been cultivating diligently without rest. They thought that with the primordial emperor's essence in hand, they would definitely be able to defeat Chu Kuangren once they became young emperors. However, they did not expect that Chu Kuangren would still be so powerful that it made them feel hopeless even without the primordial emperor's essence. Chapter 120. Chu Kuangren had defeated 5 young emperors effortlessly. His combat strength had shocked everyone. Even Honorable Xianxia, Elder Ruyan, and the others, who were mentally prepared, still found it unbelievable. In just 3 short years, Kuangren's cultivation base has not progressed much. However, his understanding of Dao techniques is so deep that it's amazing. Several of his sage ruler techniques have reached the perfect stage. It's unbelievable, Honorable Xianxia said. The elders at the side also deeply agreed. Elder Ruyan said, even if he doesn't have the primordial emperor's essence, his innate talent is stronger than anything else. Not bad. With the lead disciple around, why should we worry about our Black Heaven sect not prospering? The Black Heaven sect is destined to prosper in this era. The sect leader and the elders were all beaming with joy. Ao Chang, Lin Batian, and the others left. They came in high spirits but left in low spirits. Today's defeat had not only reminded them of Chu Kuangren's strength, but it had also cast a shadow over their Daoist hearts. If he were to face Chu Kuangren in the future, he would probably be wary before the battle even started. The news of Chu Kuangren coming out from his closed-door meditation and defeating 5 young emperors in a row spread across the world on the second day. Every orthodoxy and cultivator was shocked by the news. He had disappeared without a trace for 3 years. Just when everyone thought that Chu Kuangren would never be able to shine again, he came out of his closed-door meditation and used his absolute strength to show everyone that he was still the same person who suppressed all the sky prides in the world. One brilliant feat, one brilliant feat. Chu Kuangren has been in closed-door meditation for 3 years and lost the chance to obtain the primordial emperor's essence, but he's still the same Chu Kuangren from back then. He shouldn't be underestimated. He's too powerful. He defeated 5 young emperors in a row. His combat strength is incredible. Is he really just a battle king? Now that Chu Kuangren has come out of his closed-door meditation, the world is going to be in turmoil again. Back then, when he first entered the world, he slew supremes and saints, leading the world into chaos. Now that he has come out of seclusion, I wonder what kind of commotion he will cause. Everyone in the world was talking about Chu Kuangren. Countless people thought back to 3 years ago, to the peerless young man in white who single-handedly suppressed all the geniuses in the world to the point where they couldn't even raise their heads. Now that the young man had come out of seclusion, what kind of waves would he cause? No one knew, but they were all looking forward to it. Princess, take care. In front of the Black Heaven sect's mountain entrance, Chu Kuangren was sending Princess Linglong off. Princess Linglong smiled sweetly and said, "Then I shall take my leave. If you have time, feel free to come to the Royal Azure Dynasty to look for me." "Definitely." Chu Kuangren smiled. "Then, goodbye." "Goodbye." After sending Princess Linglong off, Chu Kuangren returned to the Black Heaven sect. He did not have any plans for the future. There was nothing wrong with staying in the Black Heaven sect to cultivate. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed. Congratulations to the host for drawing a brilliant star item. Alchemist Permanent Experience Card 1. The fantasy roulette's voice sounded. Chu Kuangren's eyes lit up. Another starlight item. Over the past month, with the lucky aura hovering above his head, he had obtained quite a number of good prizes. Among them, there were 10 silver tier prizes, 12 gold tier prizes, 3 starlight tier prizes, and only 7 iron tier prizes. Before he had the lucky halo, Chu Kuangren was considered lucky if he could get a gold-grade item once a month. Now, nearly half of the prizes he got in a month were gold-grade items, and the star brilliance was a frequent occurrence as well. Chu Kuangren felt so good that he could fly to the heavens. Use the Alchemist Experience card. Chu Kuangren took out the card and crushed it. A ray of light entered Chu Kuangren's mind, and suddenly, a large amount of information about alchemy burst out. In the blink of an eye, he had turned from a rookie who knew little about pills into a rare alchemy grandmaster. Alchemy, this is a good skill. Chu Kuangren smiled after he finished absorbing the memories in his mind. In the world of cultivation, there were all kinds of cultivation resources, and alchemy was undoubtedly one of the most popular ones. Skilled alchemists were often sought after by the orthodoxies, and they were popular wherever they went. In the Black Heaven sect, there was an elixir pavilion that specialized in cultivating alchemists. The alchemy used by the Black Heaven sect's disciples all came from there, so it was very important in the sect. Now that I've mastered this skill, if I don't find a place to use it, it'll be like walking in the dark with no one watching, Chu Kuangren murmured. Then, unable to suppress the excitement in his heart, he left the Daoist palace and went straight to the elixir pavilion. Inside the elixir pavilion, the fire was strong, and the fragrance of medicine filled the air. A group of alchemists came and went, and it was quiet but busy. It was Chu Kuangren's first time here, so he looked around curiously. Hey, it's Elder Senior Brother. An alchemy disciple noticed Chu Kuangren and could not help but let out a soft cry. The others heard him and looked over. It really is Elder Senior Brother. Why is he here at the elixir pavilion? Is he here to collect medicinal pills? That can't be right. The medicinal pills are distributed to the disciples on time every month, and why would Elder Senior Brother lack medicinal pills? A steward in charge of the elixir pavilion quickly greeted him and smiled. Welcome, lead disciple. What brings you here? Chu Kuangren smiled. I recently had a sudden idea to refine some medicinal pills, so I came here. By the way, where's the 5th elder? The 5th elder was the person in charge of the elixir pavilion. However, Chu Kuangren did not see him after looking around. The 5th elder went out. I heard that he found Master Gujiang in the Black Heaven sect's territory, so he went to invite him. Oh, Master Gujiang? Yes, he's one of the top alchemy masters in Firmament Star. He usually travels around, so the 5th elder invited him as a guest. At the mention of Gujiang, the steward had a yearning look in his eyes. In Firmament Star, those who were given the title of master were all great figures who had reached the pinnacle of a certain field. Alchemy masters, craftsmanship masters, formation masters, and so on. Each of these people were highly sought after by the orthodoxies. Even sage orthodoxies might not have them. I see. Chu Kuangren nodded. Lead disciple, are there any spare alchemy rooms? Yes, are there any spare alchemy rooms? Yes, there are. The steward nodded. If Chu Kuangren wanted to refine medicinal pills, he would build another one even if there was no spare room. The steward led Chu Kuangren to an alchemy room. Lead disciple, what kind of medicinal pills are you looking to refine? I'll get someone to prepare it for you. I have a pill recipe here. Just get the ingredients according to the recipe. Chu Kuangren took out a pill recipe and handed it to the steward. This pill recipe was a gold-grade item that he had won a few days ago. It was a good chance for him to try it out today. The steward took the pill recipe and glanced at it. He was stunned. Pill of Sorrow? It was the first time he had heard of this name. When he looked at the ingredients on the recipe, he could not help but be even more surprised. Each of these ingredients was extremely valuable. Is this really your first time refining medicinal pills? Yes, is there a problem? No, I was just curious. The steward was even more confused. He dares to use so many precious ingredients on his first time refining pills? This is too much of a nerve. Forget it, he's the lead disciple after all. Even his position and prestige in Black Heaven sect were not lower than Honorable Xianxia's. How could a small steward like him dare to disobey him? Soon, the steward arranged the ingredients for Chu Kuangren. Chapter 121. I heard Elder Senior Brother is here to perform alchemy. What? Elder Senior Brother knows how to perform alchemy? Tisk tsk, even if Elder Senior Brother says he's an alchemy grandmaster, I'd believe him. You're too blind. Elder Senior Brother is indeed powerful, but alchemy is a technical skill. Without years of experience, even a genius can't easily become an alchemist. That's right. Elder Senior Brother is talented, but he must have spent most of his time on cultivation. How would he have the time to perform alchemy? I guess he's just curious. Probably. Everyone in the alchemy pavilion was curious about Chu Kuangren's sudden arrival, and they were even more surprised when they learned that he was here to perform alchemy. Inside the alchemy room, many of the alchemy pavilion's disciples were gathered outside. They craned their necks to see how Chu Kuangren would perform alchemy. At that moment, the door opened, and the administrator walked out. Why are you all gathered here? Don't you have to work? Go do what you need to do, the administrator said angrily. Heh, Deacon, aren't we all curious? Tell us, what pill is eldest senior brother planning to refine? One of the disciples asked curiously. I'm not sure either. It's called the pill of melancholy. Have any of you heard of it? The administrator asked. However, all the disciples were at a loss. I'm familiar with the 1,000 herb scripture, but I've never heard of a pill called the pill of melancholy. Yeah, could it be a pill recorded in an unofficial history book? No way. Just as the crowd was discussing, Chu Kuangren had already started to perform alchemy in the alchemy room. After merging with the alchemist experience card, Chu Kuangren's alchemy skills had reached the highest level in the world. The moment he started to perform alchemy, it was as if he had repeated it thousands of times. Every movement was smooth and natural. As the ingredients decreased, the pill in the cauldron gradually took shape, and a unique pill chi emanated from it. Outside the door, the disciples could smell the pill chi in the air. It smells so good. Is this a pill fragrance? It's a pill fragrance. Only top-tier pills can have a pill fragrance. Is this really Elder Senior Brother's first time performing alchemy? This pill fragrance is so unique. I've never heard of it before. Woo-woo, suddenly, a sobbing sound came from the crowd. Everyone looked over and saw a young disciple sobbing. Why are you crying? Someone asked curiously. I just suddenly recalled some sad memories. Hearing this, everyone could not help but sigh. To be able to make a 7-foot man cry in public, it must have been a sad past that he couldn't bear to recall. Something was not right. Why did you think of it now? As the pill fragrance in the air became thicker and thicker, everyone felt their noses tingle and all kinds of sad memories surged in their minds. Sob sob sob, I'm unfilial. I joined the Black Heaven sect at the age of 12 and have only returned to my hometown a few times in the past 10 years. I'm unfilial. That's nothing. I've been cultivating for 10 years, and I'm still hovering around the foundation establishment stage. In the pill pavilion, my cultivation level is the lowest. I don't have the face to see anyone. Boo-hoo-hoo. Don't stop me. Just let me die. Don't, there are so many people out there who haven't even reached the foundation realm. What are you crying for? Boo-hoo, I'm the one who's miserable. When I left the village, I told Shuihua that I would marry her once I became successful, but when I went back, her child already knows how to buy soy sauce. Brother, stay strong. Which one of you is more miserable than me? Yesterday, De Huan, who had been by my side for 10 years, passed away. I fed him until he was young, but he left me just like that. I'm in so much pain. I miss senior sister so much. Although I failed to confess to her a year ago, I can't forget her even after a year. Boo-hoo, I've lived for so long, but I'm still a virgin. I'm so sad. Outside the alchemy room, the group of Pill Pavilion disciples were crying their hearts out. The air was filled with a sorrowful atmosphere. Outside the Pill Pavilion, 2 old men walked in, talking and laughing. Grandmaster Gujiang, it's really a blessing for my Black Heaven sect to have you as a guest, the 5th elder said with a laugh. Gujiang smiled. You're too kind, 5th elder. The Black Heaven sect is a sage orthodoxy. How could I not come when you invited me? You're too humble, Master Gujiang. Oh right, there's a group of good-for-nothing disciples in the Pill Pavilion. You should give them some guidance when you're free. Of course, of course. It's settled then. By the way, I heard that the Black Heaven sect's lead disciple, Chu Kuangren, is very impressive. If it's possible, I'd like to meet him. That's easy. The 5th elder and Master Gujiang walked into the Pill Pavilion. As soon as they entered, they smelled a unique pill fragrance. Since the Pill Pavilion was a place for alchemy, it was not unusual for it to have pill fragrance. However, this pill fragrance was very unique. Master Gujiang had been immersed in alchemy for thousands of years. He had seen all kinds of medicinal pills, but he had never smelled this pill fragrance before. What kind of medicinal pill is this? Master Gujiang could not help but wonder. I don't know either. The 5th elder was a little confused as well. He knew all the kinds of medicinal pills that the alchemists in the Pill Pavilion could refine, but this pill fragrance was definitely not refined by someone from the Pill Pavilion. Then who could it be? Unable to hold back their curiosity, the 2 of them followed the pill fragrance. However, the closer they got to the source of the pill fragrance, the more they felt their noses sting and their eyes watering. It was a feeling of sorrow. This pill fragrance can trigger the sorrow in one's heart. What a unique medicinal pill. The 5th elder and Master Gujiang's cultivation level was not weak. Moreover, it was just a pill fragrance, so they channeled their spiritual power to resist it. Soon, the 2 of them could hear the sound of many people crying. When they came to the outside of an alchemy room, they saw a group of Pill Pavilion disciples wailing. The 5th elder and Master Gujiang looked at each other, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. The power of this medicinal pill is really extraordinary. Yeah. The 5th elder walked up to the manager and asked, "What's going on? Who's the one refining the pills in this alchemy room?" The manager's eyes were red from crying, and his nose was dripping. When he saw the 5th elder, he sobbed, It's the lead disciple." Lead disciple? Chu Kuangren? How does he know alchemy? And he's even refining such a strange pill. The 5th elder was puzzled. Just as he was puzzled, a surge of pill chi suddenly rose from the alchemy room. It gathered the spiritual chi and formed a golden pill cloud. Supreme pill. Master Gujiang suddenly exclaimed. There were different grades and grades of pills. Among them, pills that could be classified as supreme grade were collectively known as supreme pills. Even if it was the lowest grade pill, refining it into a supreme pill was a test of the alchemist's ability. However, Master Gujiang's surprise was not over yet. After a pill cloud formed, another pill cloud gathered in the sky. Soon, there were 9 pill clouds in the sky. The golden pill clouds hovered in the sky, emitting auspicious light. An extremely mysterious Daoist rhyme filled the air, moving everyone's expression. Master Gujiang was already dumbfounded. His face was filled with disbelief. 9. 9 pill clouds. A 9th grade supreme pill. 9 was the extreme number. A 9th grade supreme pill was the highest quality pill known in the world. Even Master Gujiang could not refine it. Grandmaster. Chapter 122. Fifth Elder, quickly tell me which great master is inside. Grandmaster Gu tugged at the fifth elder's clothes excitedly. This was an alchemy grandmaster. He had traveled all over the firmament star, visiting all the famous alchemy masters, but he had yet to meet a single grandmaster even after so long. Who would have thought that they would meet here? Grandmaster Gu, calm down. How can I calm down? This is a great grandmaster. The person inside is the lead disciple of my Black Heaven sect, Chu Kuangren. Bullsh *T, isn't Chu Kuangren a genius cultivator? How did you become an alchemy grandmaster? Are you messing with me? The fifth elder's head was also full of question marks. How was he supposed to know how to refine pills? At this moment, the door to the alchemy room creaked open. Then, Chu Kuangren walked out from inside and said, I've used up all of those medicinal ingredients. Can I trouble you guys to? Before he could even finish his sentence, Chu Kuangren was stunned to see a bunch of Elixir Pavilion's disciples crying their eyes out. F***ck, what's going on? He already had some guesses in his heart. Was the pill of melancholy so powerful? Just the pill fragrance alone had such power. If it was taken by someone, wouldn't that person cry to death? It really is the chief disciple. The fifth elder's face was filled with astonishment. When Grand Master Gu next to him saw the door open, he quickly rushed in and searched inside, but he couldn't see anyone. Where did the Grand Master go? What great master? Chu Kuangren asked with a frown. It's the person who concocted the pill just now. I've been the only one in this room since the beginning. I was the one who performed the alchemy just now. Chu Kuangren chuckled. He knew that the person in front of him was Gujiang, the renowned alchemy master of Firmament Star. What, you? Gujiang circled around Chu Kuangren twice with a face full of suspicion. You're Chu Kuangren? Yes. You look just like the rumors. Was it really you who was concocting pills here just now? Gujiang's eyes were filled with doubt. Yes. Chu Kuangren nodded. Can you refine it again for me to see? Whether it was real or fake, he would know once he tested it. Chu Kuangren did not reject the offer. After all, the purpose of his trip to the Elixir Pavilion was to test his alchemy skills. He had just started and wanted to practice for a while longer. Then, he called someone to bring new medicinal ingredients and began to refine pills. Gujiang watched from the side. His expression changed from suspicion at the beginning, to solemnity, and then to shock. In the end, his mouth was wide open, and he was dumbfounded. The fifth elder beside him was no better than Gujiang. As he watched Chu Kuangren perform alchemy, he felt that it was a little too far-fetched. He had never heard that Chu Kuangren knew alchemy before, so how did he become an alchemy grandmaster in the blink of an eye? Boom! A burst of Dan Qi soared into the sky, once again condensing into 9 golden Dan clouds. This meant that this was another batch of 9th grade Supreme Dan. Great Grandmaster. He's definitely a great Grandmaster. Gujiang regained his senses and looked at Chu Kuangren with a face full of passion. Without another word, he immediately rushed towards Chu Kuangren and knelt on the ground. Master, please accept me as your disciple. The Elixir Pavilion disciples outside the alchemy room were all dumbfounded. What did they see? An alchemy grandmaster was kneeling in front of their elder senior brother, begging to be his disciple? F***ck me, this world is crazy. Senior, please don't do this. Chu Kuangren was also shocked and quickly helped Gujiang up. However, Gujiang's knees seemed to be glued to the floor. No matter how Chu Kuangren tried to pull him up, he would not get up. He stubbornly said, "If Master doesn't accept me as his disciple, I won't get up. F***ck me, he's trying to blackmail me." Chu Kuangren looked at Gujiang in shock. Is this really the world-renowned alchemy grandmaster? Master Gujiang, what are you doing? The fifth elder was also shocked and quickly came up to persuade him. Fifth elder, you don't have to persuade me. The grandmaster realm is my lifelong goal. I've immersed myself in alchemy for thousands of years, but I've never been able to achieve it. Now that I've finally seen hope, I won't give up. Gujiang said with a determined look. Alchemy was too important to him. The status and achievements he had today were all because of alchemy. His cultivation potential was not good, so he could only enter the Tao through alchemy. As long as he could advance further in alchemy, he would do anything. Senior Gujiang, if you like to kneel, then you can keep kneeling. Goodbye, Chu Kuangren said calmly. In fact, it was not impossible for him to teach Gujiang, but he was a little displeased with Gujiang's behavior. Do you think kneeling will make me accept you as my disciple? If I don't accept you, why won't you get up? Am I forcing you or am I forcing you? It was a threat in disguise. Chu Kuangren was not interested in such behavior, so he turned around and left. When the Elixir Pavilion's disciples saw that, their respect for Chu Kuangren grew like a surging river. How prestigious would it be to have an alchemy grandmaster as a disciple? But what about our elder senior brother? No. If you want me to accept you, then I won't. I don't care if you're an alchemy grandmaster, I won't even give a damn about you. This. Master Chu, wait up. Gujiang could no longer kneel. He quickly got up and chased after Chu Kuangren anxiously. Chu Kuangren looked at him. Why? You're not kneeling anymore? Gujiang blushed and said, Please forgive me, Master Chu. I was indeed rude just now. Please don't take it to heart. He also came to realize that his behavior just now was indeed a little forceful. Senior Gujiang, if it's just an alchemy exchange, I'll welcome you anytime. However, I don't think I'll accept you as my disciple. Chu Kuangren let out a faint smile and left. Gujiang was stunned. He did not know whether to chase after Chu Kuangren or not. Master Gujiang, the lead disciple lives in the towering Heaven Palace. We'll have plenty of opportunities to exchange alchemy in the future. The fifth elder walked up and said. Gujiang glared at him when he heard that. Fifth elder, this is not nice of you. You invited me to the Black Heaven sect as a guest, but you didn't tell me that there's an alchemy grandmaster here. That's rude of me. Now that I've offended Master Chu, what do you want me to do? Let me tell you this. If Master Chu has a grudge against me because of this, I'll be the first to deal with you. Gujiang was not angry at all. If he knew that there was an alchemy grandmaster in the Black Heaven sect, he would have made more preparations before coming. At least he would not have left such a terrible first impression like he did just now. The fifth elder looked innocent and said, I didn't know that the lead disciple was so capable. Gujiang could not be bothered to talk to him anymore. He turned around and walked out of the alchemy pavilion. Hey, Master Gujiang, where are you going? I'm going to look for your sect leader. Why would I look for him? He doesn't know alchemy. I want to join the Black Heaven sect. The fifth elder's eyes lit up when he heard that. Gujiang was an alchemy grandmaster. If he was willing to join the Black Heaven sect, it would be a great thing. Chapter 123. Towering Heaven Palace. Chu Kuangren looked at Gujiang inside. So you joined the Black Heaven sect so that you could be my disciple? Please teach me. Gujiang bowed. Beside him, Honorable Xianxia, Elder Ruyan, and the others looked at Chu Kuangren in surprise. They did not expect him to know alchemy. Moreover, he could even convince a grandmaster like Gujiang willingly. Chu Kuangren was giving them more and more surprises. Cough, Kuangren, for the sake of Master Gujiang's sincerity, you can teach him. Honorable Xianxia smiled. Chu Kuangren said, I can teach him, but not as a master. Yes, teacher. Gujiang was delighted. Didn't I say I won't accept disciples? Teacher, you misunderstand. Although you won't accept me as a disciple, you shouldn't reject me as a teacher. All right then. Chu Kuangren nodded. Just like that, the towering heaven palace had another frequent visitor. Gujiang would visit the Daoist palace every few days to ask for advice, and his joining of the Black Heaven sect had greatly improved the sect's foundation. After all, he was still an alchemy master. These days, Honorable Xianxia could often be seen smiling and mumbling about how Chu Kuangren was his lucky star. Chu Kuangren lived a peaceful life for a period of time. However, there was always someone who did not let him live so comfortably. Today, outside the towering heaven palace, a handsome young man dressed in white came to visit. It was said that he was from the winged human tribe and wanted to bring Lan Yu back. Chu Kuangren looked at the person in front of him and frowned. Brother Chu, I'm Yen Bo of the winged human tribe. I'm here to ask you to allow Lan Yu to return to our tribe and acknowledge her ancestors. Before Chu Kuangren could speak, the handsome young man, Yen Bo, spoke first. Chu Kuangren rolled his eyes in his mind. Lan Yu was created by the fantasy roulette from the lottery draw. Although she was from the winged human tribe, she had no direct relationship with the winged human tribe. What was he asking her to return to? What tribe? However, this was not the case to outsiders, so Chu Kuangren did not say it out loud. He looked at Lan Yu as if asking for her opinion. Aside from being by your side, I will not go anywhere else, Lan Yu said firmly. Chu Kuangren smiled and looked at Yen Bo, fellow feather, you heard her. Lan Yu doesn't want to go back. Lan Yu, this time, you must go back. Yen Bo was still unwilling to give up, his face filled with anxiety. Chu Kuangren frowned slightly, feeling that something was not right. This time? Did he look for you many times before? The latter question was directed at Lan Yu. Lan Yu nodded slightly. Why didn't you tell me? It's just an insignificant matter. I don't dare to disturb young master. How is your matter unimportant? Next time something like this happens, remember not to hide it from me. Chu Kuangren said helplessly. Lan Yu pursed his lips and nodded. Yes, master. Yen Bo watched from the side. He felt that the two of them did not seem to have a simple master-servant relationship, but he did not think too much about it. He continued, Lan Yu, this concerns the survival of the winged human tribe. Please come back with me. The survival of the winged human tribe has nothing to do with me. Besides, don't you still have Zhu Tianlan? Can't you ask him to help? The Zhu Tianlan that Lan Yu mentioned was the young emperor of the winged human tribe, an ancient sky pride from 40,000 years ago. He had looked for her a few times before, and his combat strength was not much weaker than hers. This time, even the young emperor can't do anything. Only you can save the winged human tribe because you're the only one with the scepter of light. Yen Bo said and continued to tell her what had happened. It turned out that the ancestors of the winged human tribe were once trusted aides of the sage ruler of light. Later on, the sage ruler of light granted the winged human tribe a territory, allowing them to spread their roots and establish the winged human tribe. However, the truth was that the winged human tribe had an important mission. There was a demonic well in their territory that led to the underworld demonic realm. The winged human tribe's mission was to suppress the demonic well and prevent the demonic creatures from coming out. However, the demonic well had recently become restless, and the formation that suppressed the demonic well was damaged for unknown reasons. Now, only the sage ruler weapon, the Scepter of Light, could repair the formation and suppress the demonic well. The fact that you're able to obtain the Scepter of Light means that it's God's will. Lan Yu, follow me back to the winged human tribe and suppress the demonic well. With your talent and the scepter, you'll become the leader of the winged human tribe in the future. Yan Bo tried to move him with emotion and reason. Chu Kuangren did not expect the winged human tribe to have such a relationship with the sage ruler of light. In that case, the reason why the Scepter of Light chose Lan Yu was not only because of her holy radiant physique, but also because of her identity as a winged human. Then let's go. While Lan Yu was hesitating, Chu Kuangren had already made up his mind. Master. After all, it's been a while since I've gone out for a walk. Besides, I'm a little interested in seeing the demonic well. Chu Kuangren chuckled. The underworld demonic realm was a term that Chu Kuangren had repeatedly seen in the ancient books. He had also seen some records about the demonic realm. For example, the school of White Lotus's ancestor, the White Lotus sage ruler, had once suppressed a demonic beast from the underworld and established a sage orthodoxy. Then I'll listen to you, Master, Lan Yu said. All right. Thank you, Brother Chu. Yan Bo was overjoyed. It turned out that he had been trying to persuade the wrong person. If he had known, he would have persuaded Chu Kuangren instead. When Honorable Xian Qi heard that Chu Kuangren wanted to go to the winged human tribe's territory, he did not object. Then, Chu Kuangren departed. The seventh forefather and the other two protectors also followed him on his journey. After 3 years, the 3 protectors had something to do again. The 3 of them gathered in the void and greeted each other. Brother Qing Lan, long time no see. You're still as elegant as ever. The seventh forefather looked at Honorable Qing Lan and laughed. Brother Xian Qi, how have you been? Brother Meng, you look younger. At that moment, the seventh forefather looked at the old lady from the royal Azure dynasty and said in surprise. Old Lady Meng smiled and said, the dynasty king has given me a supreme elixir, which allowed me to extend my lifespan and continue to protect the fiancé. Well, congratulations, congratulations. How can I compare to Brother Xian Qi? I heard that you've gone through heavenly deterioration stage 5 and returned to your peak with the help of a life extension pill. I'm really envious of you, Old Lady Meng said enviously. After going through heavenly deterioration stage 5, one was basically waiting for death. There were very few people like the seventh forefather who could return to their peak. It's all thanks to this little guy. He's now an alchemy grandmaster. Perhaps you can ask him to refine a batch of life extension pills for you. The seventh forefather suggested. Old Lady Meng was a little tempted. Let's talk about this another time. All right. The few protectors were chatting in the void. From their point of view, with Chu Kuangren's current cultivation and strength, as long as an honorable was not involved, they would not be needed. However, how many honorables were there in Firmament Star? Chapter 124. Chu Kuangren and Lan Yu followed Yan Bo to the winged human tribe. Along the way, they learned a lot about the winged human tribe. For example, the winged human tribe was divided into 2 factions. One faction was led by the current winged human tribe leader, while the other was led by the awakened ancient sky pride, Zhu Tianlan. Although these 2 factions did not have any conflicts on the surface, they were secretly competing with each other. Yan Bo belonged to the winged human tribe leader's faction. Aside from wanting to save the winged human tribe, he also wanted to recruit Lan Yu and find a sky pride that could compete with Zhu Tianlan. Chu Kuangren was not surprised by this situation. The awakening of an ancient sky pride was good news for some factions, but it would also affect the internal factions. Especially for an honorable orthodoxy like the winged human tribe, which was not as strong as the sage orthodoxy. They needed a supreme sky pride to lead their orthodoxy to the next level. However, this ancient sky pride had been in hibernation for many years and did not have deep feelings for the orthodoxy, so it was natural that he had to bear a certain amount of risk. Soon, Chu Kuangren and Lan Yu arrived at the winged human tribe's territory. It was a huge city with unique buildings. Most of them were dome-shaped and white in color. People came and went in the city. Besides the winged human tribe, there were also many foreign merchants and cultivators. It was very lively. When they arrived at the center of the city, there was a white palace with armored guards patrolling the place. The security was very tight. Lan Yu, you're finally here. When they arrived at the palace, a handsome middle-aged man in a white robe with white hair greeted them. This middle-aged man was the current winged human tribe leader. Greetings, tribe leader. Lan Yu bowed slightly. No matter how much she did not want to return to the winged human tribe, she still felt a sense of familiarity when she saw so many people from the same tribe. Behind the winged human tribe leader, there were many elders and young talents in the tribe. All of them looked at Lan Yu curiously. After all, it was strange that a supreme Daoist physique had suddenly appeared in their tribe without anyone knowing about it. Not to mention that this tribe member wielded the Scepter of Light, which was a supreme authority recorded in their tribe's ancient books. However, it did not take long before everyone's attention was drawn to Chu Kuangren, who was standing beside Lan Yu. Each and every one of them was stunned. Even in the winged human tribe, which was full of handsome men and beautiful women, Chu Kuangren's appearance and temperament were still exceptionally outstanding. No one could match him. Who is this person? Is he also a winged person? No, he doesn't have the aura of a winged person. But he looks even better than us winged humans. He came here with Lan Yu. I know, he's Chu Kuangren. It should be him. The group of winged humans discussed in hushed tones. While they were sizing up Chu Kuangren, he was also sizing them up. It was said that apart from producing handsome men and beautiful women, the winged human tribe was also skilled in combat. He took a look and found that all of them had a kind of valiant aura about them. Those pampered prodigies couldn't be compared to them. Apart from that, he also noticed that even though Lan Yu was from the winged people tribe, her appearance was slightly different from an ordinary winged people. Ordinary winged people, including the lord of the winged people tribe, were no different from ordinary people other than having an extra pair of wings. Lan Yu, on the other hand, had long silver hair, sapphire eyes, and a holy aura. All of these made her stand out among the group of winged people, making her exceptionally attractive. Chu Kuangren smirked, feeling an inexplicable sense of pride in his heart. As expected, my Lan Yu is the prettiest no matter where she goes. You must be elder senior brother Black Heaven. The lord of the winged people tribe walked up to Chu Kuangren and bowed slightly. Greetings, lord. You're welcome, brother Chu. I've already prepared a banquet to welcome all of you. The lord of the winged people tribe smiled. The banquet was held in the palace. All the elders and sky prides of the winged people tribe were present, including the young emperor Zhu Tianlan. As a winged people, Zhu Tianlan's appearance was needless to say. Among all the people Chu Kuangren had met, he was definitely the most handsome. Of course, that was except for him. Zhu Tianlan was also very surprised. He took a few more glances at Chu Kuangren during the banquet. He did not expect there to be a man more handsome than him in this world. At that thought, Zhu Tianlan felt a little uncomfortable. Especially when he saw how docile and obedient Lan Yu was next to Chu Kuangren, he felt a surge of anger in his heart. After all, when he went to look for Lan Yu, she treated him coldly. Where was the gentleness she showed to Chu Kuangren? Lan Yu, it's great that you've thought things through and returned to the winged people tribe. If you and I work together, we can definitely bring the winged people tribe to new heights. Let me propose a toast to you. Zhu Tianlan suppressed his jealousy towards Chu Kuangren and raised his glass at Lan Yu with a smile. However, Lan Yu did not raise her glass. Instead, she said, I came to the Winged People tribe to solve the problem of the demonic well. Once I'm done, I'll leave. Leading the Winged People tribe will be up to you and the Lord. His words made all the elders present reveal strange expressions. We'll talk about Lan Yu later. She's right, we should focus on stabilizing the demonic well first. Sensing the tense atmosphere in the banquet, the Lord of the Winged People tribe quickly tried to smooth things over. After the banquet ended, Chu Kuangren and Lan Yu stayed in the palace for the night. The next day, they set off for their destination, the demonic well. The so-called demonic well was not a real well, but a spatial crack. It was called the demonic well because it was connected to the underworld demonic realm. The demonic well that the Winged People tribe guarded was on an altar in the palace, guarded by 4 stone pillars that were engraved with runes. These stone pillars contained the power of the former sage ruler of light. However, for some unknown reason, that power had been greatly weakened, which was why the sage ruler's former weapon, the scepter of light, was needed to restore it. Lan Yu, I'm sorry to trouble you. One of the Winged People tribe elders looked at Lan Yu and said solemnly. He was the guardian of this altar, but it was said that a few days ago, there was a problem with the altar's formation, causing the demonic well to become restless. He was severely injured while trying to suppress the well, and he had yet to fully recover. As for how to restore the formation's power, he had already told Lan Yu about it on the way here. Alright, I'll do my best. Lan Yu nodded. Then, in a flash, she spread her wings and flew onto the altar. She took out the scepter of light, and a surge of holy light aura emanated from her body, causing everyone present to be moved. That's the scepter of light, the former weapon of the sage ruler. It's said that this scepter symbolizes the supreme authority of the Winged People tribe. Whoever holds the scepter can command the entire Winged People tribe. That's only because our ancestors respected the sage ruler of light. However, this scepter is a sage ruler weapon, so it's true that it's extremely powerful. That's right. All the Winged People, including the Lord of the Winged People tribe, stared at the scepter of light in Lan Yu's hand with a fiery gaze. Chu Kuangren frowned as he watched from the side. A sage ruler weapon was enough to tempt a sage orthodoxy, not to mention the symbolic significance of the scepter of light to the Winged People tribe. Would these people really let Lan Yu leave so easily? Chapter 125. On the altar, the scepter in Lan Yu's hand shone brightly. Divine light filled the air. However, the chief of the Winged Men tribe gradually realized that something was amiss. This was because the power of the formation on the altar did not increase at all. On the contrary, it was still weakening. What's going on? The chief of the Winged Men tribe's expression changed, and he quickly looked at the elder who was guarding the altar. However, she saw that he was full of smiles and was not surprised at all. Third elder, what's going on? The chief of the winged humans questioned. What's going on? As you can see, the spell formation is about to disappear. The devil realm will descend today. The third elder laughed out loud, his face filled with excitement. Take him down, the chief of the Winged Men tribe shouted coldly. The third elder's body exploded with a strong power, directly blasting away the guards who were rushing toward him from all directions. Then, a pair of black wings unfurled from the third elder's back. Everyone's faces sank when they saw this. Fallen Wing. Third elder actually became a member of the Fallen Wing clan. Damn it, what's going on? This is all part of the third elder's scheme. Damn it. Chu Kuangren activated his Eye of Revelation to check on the third elder's information. Third elder, Zhu Xian, Supreme Martial Artist Cultivation, Fallen Winged Race, a race of the demon world that the winged human race transformed into after being corroded by demonic energy. Oh no, stop Lan Yu. The chief of the winged human tribe shouted. But it was too late. Suddenly, a black gas erupted from the altar. The powerful impact sent Lan Yu flying off the altar. Chu Kuangren's figure flashed and caught it. Are you alright? I'm fine, but I failed. Lan Yu frowned. I followed the elder's instructions and did not make any mistakes. Why is the power of the array decreasing instead of increasing? Haha, that's because what I'm teaching you isn't the method to restore the power of the array formation, but to reverse the array formation. The third elder laughed loudly. On the altar, black smoke billowed into the sky. A pitch-black hole appeared in the sky, and a terrifying demonic chi seeped out from it, causing everyone's hearts to palpitate. This is the devil's well. Damn it! The array formation has disappeared. The demonic well has reappeared. One figure after another rushed out of the well. These people all had black wings and emitted a powerful aura. The fallen winged clan. The chief of the winged clan said through gritted teeth. The winged human tribe had been guarding the demonic well for many years, and many of their tribesmen had been corrupted by the demonic chi. These tribesmen had betrayed the winged human tribe and fled to the demon realm of hell. Over time, they had become the fallen winged human tribe. It could be said that the winged human tribe and the fallen winged human tribe were irreconcilable enemies. Now that they had met, both sides were on the verge of a fight. After so many years, the demonic well spell formation has finally disappeared. A black-haired man among the fallen winged tribe laughed loudly. This person was the current clan leader of the fallen winged tribe. He wore a set of black armor and held a long spear in his hand. His aura was extremely domineering. Lan Yu, go and reactivate the formation. Use the method third elder taught you in reverse, the chief of the winged human tribe said. Alright. Lan Yu nodded and flew towards the altar again. However, there was no way the fallen winged humans would let her have her way so easily. A few fallen winged humans charged towards her as demonic aura and Daoist rhymes erupted at the same time. Trying to restore the spell formation? In your dreams. However, as soon as these people got close to Lan Yu, they were killed by several sword chi. It was Chu Kuangren who had made his move. Lan Yu once again arrived at the altar without any obstructions. With the scepter of light in her hand, her Daoist rhymes circulated and activated the spell formation on the altar. The chief of the fallen winged human tribe said coldly, kill that female winged human with everything you have. We must not let her reactivate the spell formation. Yes. A large number of fallen winged humans charged towards Lan Yu. The chief of the winged human tribe and the others naturally would not sit idly by. Your opponents are us. Traitors of the winged human tribe, die. In the sky, black and white wings intertwined, initiating a battle between black and white. A large amount of Daoist rhyme spread, spiritual powers collided, and feathers fell from the sky. A terrifying aura covered half the sky. Meanwhile, Chu Kuangren stood at the edge of the altar. He could not care less about the battle in the sky as he focused on protecting Lan Yu. Anyone who dared to get close to Lan Yu was mercilessly killed by him. Whether it was a nascent soul cultivator or a paradise realm cultivator, they were no match for him. Boom! A pitch-black giant hand with a surge of Daoist rhyme blasted out as if it was going to crush the void. An honorable's poise locked onto Chu Kuangren. Facing this attack, Chu Kuangren's expression turned serious. He held the Descendant Self-Sword in his hand and unleashed a blinding purple sword chi. When the sword chi and the giant hand collided, a terrifying shockwave swept out in all directions. The horrifying power caused the ground to crack and the void to tremble. Not far away, the third elder's expression changed. I can't believe this person's combat strength is so terrifying that he can block my attack. Although he did injure himself for the sake of putting on a show, his attack was still not something an ordinary honorable could block. He did not expect a battle monarch like Chu Kuangren to have such combat strength. Seventh forefather, watch over Lan Yu. Chu Kuangren said to the void. He then looked at the third elder with a glint in his eyes as the sword-based Daoist rhyme on his body gradually increased. Ever since I came out of my closed-door meditation, I've never used my full strength. I wonder how much of my strength you, an honorable, can force me to use. Chu Kuangren, this has nothing to do with you. If you leave now, you might be able to keep your life. Otherwise, you'll die for sure. The third elder said coldly. The invasion of the demonic realm concerns the lives of the common people. How can this have nothing to do with me? Besides, you're going to harm my people. Chu Kuangren's expression was cold as he twirled the sacred sword in his hand and a chilling Daoist rhyme gushed out. The sword of the heavens and the green lotus sword song were unleashed. What a terrifying aura. Is he really just a battle monarch? The third elder's eyes shrunk in disbelief. However, what shocked him even more was that Chu Kuangren had unleashed his battle monarch domain. The terrifying domain energy even made him, an honorable, feel pressured. Is he AF * King Battle Monarch? How could a battle monarch have such combat strength? The third elder felt a sense of fear. As an honorable, he might be able to put up a fight if he was at his peak. However, his injured body could only allow him to unleash less than half of his strength. This battle might be a little risky. What, are you afraid now? Chu Kuangren could not help but chuckle when he saw the third elder's hesitation. Cultivation was not only about one's Daoist skills but also one's Daoist core. The third elder was afraid before the battle even began. Chu Kuangren had already gained the upper hand in this battle. Before his opponent could even open his mouth, Chu Kuangren had already unleashed a sword attack. A terrifying sword ray covered the sky. The Daoist rhyme contained within it was so powerful that it seemed like it could destroy everything in the world. Heaven-slaying sword-drawing technique. The third elder's expression changed when he saw this terrifying sword Dao technique. He waved both his hands and unleashed a palm attack. The violent energy formed into a giant palm print. When the two energies collided, a huge explosion erupted and dust billowed. The third elder was forced back a few hundred feet. Suddenly, he felt a sense of fear. He did not know when Chu Kuangren had appeared behind him. As the sword slashed down, the sharp sword chi caused his hair to stand on end. The third elder tried his best to dodge, but he was still not fast enough. Chapter 126. The third elder's scream attracted the attention of many people. When everyone looked over, they saw the third elder falling from the sky with a broken wing. He was bleeding profusely, and his face was as pale as a sheet. Chu Kuangren grabbed one of the wings and slowly descended from the sky. He looked at the wing in his hand and smiled. I wonder if this can be used to make grilled wings. Too bad I can't seem to find cumin anywhere. He then tossed the wing onto the ground and glared at the third elder coldly. The battle monarch domain was still suppressing him. Everyone, be it the fallen winged human or the winged human, was shocked. They looked at Chu Kuangren with fear. After all, the third elder was an honorable. Even if he was not at his peak state, he was still an honorable. The fact that Chu Kuangren could easily injure the third elder proved that his strength was not to be underestimated. More importantly, he was still very young and was only a battle monarch. How powerful would he become when he grew? Even I can't say that I can easily defeat the third elder, but he did it. Chu Kuangren is indeed a formidable opponent. The winged human young emperor, Zhu Tianlan, had a solemn look on his face. Initially, he did not believe that Chu Kuangren could defeat 5 young emperors by himself. However, it seemed that it was true. Save me! The third elder shouted at the fallen winged human leader. However, the fallen winged human leader was currently occupied by the winged human leader. Both of them were honorable supremes, so they were in a stalemate. As for the others, they had their own opponents to deal with as well. Heh, save you? Who has the ability to save you? Chu Kuangren chuckled and raised his sword, ready to end his opponent. However, at that moment, the demonic well on the altar suddenly erupted with an extremely terrifying aura, and a terrifying domineering aura poured out. All the cultivators at the scene were shocked. They felt that their Dao techniques were being suppressed, and it was difficult for them to use them. Even the Honorable Supremes felt the same. This feeling is, the Emperor's aura. Zhu Tianlan suddenly screamed as his body trembled. Everyone who heard him was shocked as they looked at the demonic well. An emperor? Could it be an emperor from the demonic realm this time? That's impossible. With the size and strength of this demonic well, even a sage can't pass through it, let alone an emperor. The chief of the winged human tribe said loudly. The rest of the powerhouses agreed with this statement as well. It would not be easy for a powerhouse from another realm to descend upon the firmament star. Did they really think that the world barrier was just a decoration? But my senses can't be wrong. This pressure is on the same level as the Emperor Qi in my body. It's definitely the pressure of the Emperor Dao. Moreover, our Dao techniques are being suppressed by this oppressive might. Isn't this the legendary One Emperor suppressing all laws? Zhu Tianlan continued. He had the primordial Emperor's essence, so he had some understanding of the Emperor's aura. Moreover, the fact that the One Emperor suppresses all laws was right in front of them. The other experts were also confused. Could it really be an emperor descending? Everyone stared at the well as a middle-aged man in a luxurious black robe walked out. The man had a high nose bridge, long and narrow eyebrows, and an arrogant expression. His gaze swept across the crowd as if he was looking at a group of lowly ants. Upon seeing him, the leader of the fallen Wing tribe bowed to greet him. Greetings, Demon Emperor. Greetings, Demon Emperor. The reaction of the fallen Wing tribe members made the leader of the winged human tribe and the others turn pale. It really was a demon emperor. It's been a long time since I've been to the human realm. The air here is so fresh, the middle-aged man said after taking a deep breath. Then, he glanced at Lan Yu who was on the altar. It's just my bad luck to encounter this hateful light aura as soon as I come out. As he spoke, he pointed a finger at Lan Yu from afar. A terrifying surge of demonic qi gathered and blended with a domineering Daoist rhyme that seemed to dominate the entire world before it headed towards Lan Yu. That powerful emperor's aura made it impossible for Lan Yu to resist. At that moment, a sword qi slashed out from the void. The sword qi was like a rainbow that blocked the middle-aged man's attack. The seventh forefather then walked out from the void with a solemn expression. The crowd could not help but feel shocked when they saw that he had blocked the middle-aged man's attack. Was an emperor's attack really that easy to block? A mere clone dares to act so arrogantly. Chu Kuangren slowly walked to Lan Yu's side and let her continue to operate the formation on the altar while he and the seventh forefather faced the middle-aged man. His words made the leader of the winged human tribe and the others' eyes lit up. A clone. This so-called emperor in front of them was just a clone. This demonic well can only allow demonic beings below the sage level to pass through. No matter how strong this demon emperor's clone is, it can't be stronger than a sage. That's great, we still have hope. The crowd, who had felt hopeless because of their opponent's identity as an emperor, regained their confidence and the courage to fight again. Oh, you can tell that I'm just a clone. Aunt, you're quite observant. The middle-aged man was surprised. Even the Honorable Supreme and Honorable Supremes at the scene could not see through him, so he did not expect a battle monarch like Chu Kuangren to be able to see through him. If I'm not mistaken, you must be one of the 7 emperors of the demonic realm, Demon Emperor Pride, Chu Kuangren continued. Demon Emperor Pride was shocked. He did not expect that not only did his opponent know that he was a clone, but he also knew who he really was. What else do you know? Let's hear it. Demon Emperor Pride's interest was piqued. Demon Emperor Pride, don't be fooled. This person is obviously trying to stall for time so that Lan Yu can reactivate the spell to seal the demonic well, the leader of the fallen winged human tribe said hurriedly. Are you telling me what to do now? Demon Emperor Pride glanced at the leader of the fallen winged human tribe. I dare not. The leader of the fallen winged human tribe turned pale and knelt on the ground in fear. Chu Kuangren watched from the side. The eye of Revelation's analysis was right. Demon Emperor Pride was indeed arrogant. I'm afraid this clone of yours doesn't even have 1/10,000th of your actual strength. Demon Emperor, do you really think this clone can stay in the human realm for long? I'm just trying to kill some time. Demon Emperor Pride said calmly. To him, he did not come to the firmament star to help the fallen winged human tribe. He was just bored and wanted to kill some time. Alright, Ant. I don't know how you know all this, but I want to kill someone now. Demon Emperor Pride could see that Lan Yu was about to successfully activate the spell. Although he did not care, he would not let Chu Kuangren and the others succeed either. The seventh forefather's expression changed slightly. He took a step forward, trying to stop Demon Emperor Pride. However, a terrifying domineering aura was released from Demon Emperor Pride's body and suppressed his Daoist technique. With his Daoist technique suppressed, his combat strength was greatly reduced. Even if it was just a clone of an emperor, he could still suppress all Daoist techniques. D***it. A clone with less than 1/10,000th of his actual strength can suppress an honorable supreme. It's hard to imagine how terrifying his actual strength is. Is this the power of an emperor? The seventh forefather said in shock. Seventh forefather, leave him to me. Chu Kuangren suddenly took a step forward and activated all three Daoist physique transformations. He channeled his spiritual power and the 5 supreme foundation levels in his body simultaneously radiated with a divine light. Demon Emperor Pride was astonished. You're not affected by my emperor's aura? Your domineering aura is not strong enough. Chu Kuangren had been studying the Eternal Emperor scripture for 3 years. The emperor's aura within the emperor scripture was much stronger than Demon Emperor Pride's clone. Chapter 127. An emperor suppresses all abilities. All the cultivator's Daoist techniques were suppressed by Demon Emperor Pride's emperor's aura. Even if the honorable cultivators could channel their spiritual power, their Daoist techniques would be suppressed, and their strength would be greatly reduced. Moreover, this was just a clone of Demon Emperor Pride. If the main body were to descend, forget about a supreme honorable, even a sage ruler would be completely suppressed, unable to move at all. This was the power of an emperor. Among them, Chu Kuangren was the only one who had comprehended the emperor's scripture. For the past 3 years, he had been immersed in the emperor's aura. Even though it was not the complete emperor's aura and it was just an emperor's scripture, it still made his resistance to the emperor's aura far stronger than the other cultivators. He could even move freely in front of Demon Emperor Pride's clone. Interesting. I didn't expect the human realm to have such a talented young man like you. Unfortunately, you may be able to resist the emperor's aura, but you're still just a battle monarch. Do you think you can defeat me? Demon Emperor Pride said and pointed a finger at Chu Kuangren from afar. A terrifying Daoist rhyme circulated, and demonic chi surged like a beacon. A finger strength erupted, almost collapsing the entire void. Even if it was only a 10,000th or 100,000th of the Demon Emperor's power, even an honorable supreme would have to take it seriously. Little guy. Bachelor sage. The seventh forefather and the others were shocked. Even if Chu Kuangren was a peerless genius, he was still a battle monarch. How could he possibly withstand the attack of an honorable supreme? Boom. Just when everyone thought that Chu Kuangren was dead for sure, a terrifying sword chi suddenly erupted from his body. That sword chi was as bright as a rainbow, and it emanated a domineering aura. The Demon Emperor Pride's finger strength was shattered by that attack. This is a sage's attack. And it's not just any ordinary sage. Demon Emperor Pride was slightly surprised. Then, the majestic sword chi that carried a surge of sage's aura landed on the Demon Emperor's clone, tearing half of its body apart. The remaining power caused the fallen winged humans behind the Demon Emperor to suffer heavy casualties. Even an honorable would be easily killed by that power. A sage's attack shook the heavens and earth. Everyone stared at that scene in shock and gulped. Chu Kuangren actually possessed the power of a sage? How does that feel? Chu Kuangren looked at Demon Emperor Pride, whose body had been torn apart by the sword chi and was about to dissipate. This sword energy was one of the Starlight grade prizes that he had drawn a few days ago. It could unleash an attack that was as powerful as a great sage. Nothing much. You don't even have a 10,000th of my true body's strength. Demon Emperor Pride snorted coldly, still as arrogant as ever. But it's enough to destroy this clone of yours. Demon Emperor Pride's face darkened. Although he didn't care much about this avatar, the fact that it was destroyed out of nowhere was enough to infuriate him. He'd come to the mortal dimension this time with the intention of killing time, yet he'd been annihilated before he'd even started, so how could he possibly be in a good mood? This was like a person who wanted to go on vacation. He had bought the plane ticket, prepared the travel guide, and prepared his luggage. But as soon as he left the house, he was robbed of all his luggage, passports, and the like. "Aunt, tell me your name." "My surname is He, and my name is by one." "Why do you have to ask?" "You're King messing with me." Demon Emperor Pride muttered the name twice before he suddenly realized what was going on. He glared at Chu Kuangren furiously. "Anyone with a discerning eye can tell. Why do you have to ask?" Chu Kuangren chuckled. "Alright, Aunt, I'll remember your aura. You better pray that you never fall into my hands." Demon Emperor Pride was so angry that his mouth twitched before he gradually dissipated into the void. The Emperor's aura had also disappeared. "Run!" At that moment, the Lord of the Fallen Winged Humans no longer cared about the demonic realm's descent. He led his subordinates and ran towards the direction of the demonic well. However, at that moment, the stone pillars around the altar began to glow brightly. 4 beams of light shot into the sky and landed on the demonic well. The void trembled, and the demonic well gradually disappeared. The altar's formation had been restored by Lan Yu. "Now you have nowhere to run," Chu Kuangren said indifferently. With the phantom light strike, he arrived beside the third elder and unleashed a palm attack. The power of the human mountain stamp was unleashed. The third elder was blasted away by that attack, and he crashed into the ground, creating a huge crater. Countless cracks spread out like a spider web. Chu Kuangren appeared in front of the third elder like a ray of light. "I've told you that no one can save you. You can die now. Chu Kuangren, you will die a horrible death. You've offended the Demon Emperor. You will not have a good ending." The third elder's face was covered in blood as he screamed. "You won't be able to witness my ending." Chu Kuangren turned his sword and slashed it off the third elder's head. An honorable had fallen. "Kill! Let's fight them!" The Lord of the Fallen Winged Humans roared when he saw that there was no way out. He led the remaining fallen winged humans to fight the winged human tribe. In an instant, the ground and the void within a 100-kilometer radius shook. In the end, with the help of the 7th forefather and the others, the fallen winged humans who had lost the Demon Emperor's clone and the demonic well were annihilated. "Winged humans, I curse all of you!" The Lord of the Fallen Winged Humans roared. In the end, he was killed by the seventh forefather and the lord of the winged human tribe, and he exploded into a puddle of blood in the air. The fall of an honorable supreme did not bring about any transformations. With the great Dharma emergence, even the fall of an honorable supreme would not bring about any transformations such as the red rain. Perhaps it would be the same for the fall of a sage after some time. Finally, it's over. The lord of the winged human tribe breathed a sigh of relief. He then went up to Chu Kuangren and said gratefully, "Thank you for your help, Brother Chu. If it weren't for you, the winged human tribe would have been doomed." "It's all right," Chu Kuangren replied. This time, he had done the winged human tribe a favor. "Since the demonic well's matter has been resolved, it's time for us to leave," Chu Kuangren said. "Brother Chu, there's no need to rush. You've helped us so much, so we should at least thank you. Why don't you stay in the city for a few more days? I'll arrange for someone to bring you around." The lord of the winged human tribe smiled. "Sounds good." Chu Kuangren gave it some thought. Since he was not in a hurry to leave, he agreed. The next day, a winged human tribe elder came and called Lan Yu away. Inside the great hall, Zhu Tianlan and a few other elders were gathered together, looking at Lan Yu before them with a smile on their faces, looking like they were harmless to both man and beast. "Lan Yu, you're still a member of the winged human tribe, and you've done us a great service by sealing the demonic well. Are you sure you don't want to stay?" One of the winged human tribe elders asked kindly. Lan Yu shook her head and said, "My only wish in this life is to follow my master. I'll go wherever my master goes. I've said this many times, so please don't try to persuade me anymore, elders. You're a young emperor. What's the point of staying by Chu Kuangren's side as a follower? What great achievements can you possibly achieve in the future?" Another white-haired elder said resentfully. "Sai, you can't say that. The divine predictor once said that Lan Yu's future achievements will not be any weaker than the emperors of old. However, Lan Yu, the path to becoming an emperor requires a lot of resources. How many resources can you possibly get by staying by Chu Kuangren's side? However, things will be different if you stay with the winged human tribe. We'll do our best to nurture you so that your journey on the path to becoming an emperor will be smoother." Chapter 128. In the great hall, one of the elders of the winged human tribe played the good cop while the other played the bad cop, trying to persuade Lan Yu to stay. After all, Lan Yu was a young emperor who was personally evaluated by the divine predictor as having the same potential as the emperors of old. In terms of value, even Zhu Tianlan could not compare to her. "I appreciate your kindness, elder, but I've said it before. I'm only willing to follow my master for the rest of my life. You don't have to say anything more." Lan Yu's attitude was firm. After that, she prepared to leave. "Hold it right there." At that moment, Zhu Tianlan could not help but speak up. "What's so good about that Chu Kuangren? Did he bewitch you? He's the one who made you so loyal to him." Zhu Tianlan's heart was filled with jealousy. He had to admit that he admired Lan Yu. Be it looks, qualifications, or identity, she was a good match for him. However, all he got in return was a cold attitude from her. On the other hand, Chu Kuangren had done nothing to make Lan Yu so loyal that she was willing to abandon the entire winged human tribe for him. He could not accept it, and his heart was filled with jealousy. "My master is a good person. You'll never be able to compare to him," Lan Yu said coldly when she saw Zhu Tianlan's hostility. "Just because he's stronger than me? There's someone 10,000 times better than you." Zhu Tianlan was speechless. This time, he had completely given up. "You can leave, but leave the scepter of light behind." Zhu Tianlan took a deep breath and said. Lan Yu frowned. "Why?" "The scepter of light is the symbol of the winged human tribe's highest authority. It's been wandering outside for a long time. If you had returned to the winged human tribe, we would have given you the scepter. However, since you insist on leaving, we can't let you leave with the scepter, Zhu Tianlan said. Since I can't keep you here, I must keep the sage ruler weapon. With his talent and the scepter of light, it would not take long for him to control the entire winged human tribe. Even the tribe leader would have to listen to him. The other elders looked at each other and stealthily sealed off Lan Yu's escape route. Even the kind-looking elder had a different expression on his face as he glared coldly at Lan Yu. You want the scepter? Dream on. Lan Yu's body flashed with a white light and a silver-white armor covered his body. He was ready for battle. Do it. Zhu Tianlan was the first to make a move. Both of his palms were stretched out and a terrifying Daoist rhyme was contained within them. The other elders also launched their attacks at the same time. The might of the honorable realm instantly locked onto Lan Yu. They wanted to end the battle quickly. No matter how talented Lan Yu was, she had only reached the battle monarch realm not too long ago. On the other hand, among the people in front of her, one was an ancient genius who was no weaker than her, and the rest were elders of the winged clan, all of them at the martial honor realm. It would be difficult for Lan Yu to fight against the combined forces of these people. Surrender. Zhu Tianlan seized the opportunity and sent out a palm strike. The boundless power sent Lan Yu flying, causing blood to trickle down from the corner of her mouth. Just as he was about to follow up with another attack, a domain force traversed through space and directly suppressed him. This pressure, how is this possible? Zhu Tianlan was trapped within the battle monarch domain. The spiritual power that he unleashed was dispersed, and he felt as if 100,000 mountains were pressing down on his body. Even moving a finger was extremely difficult. Outside the great hall, Chu Kuangren slowly walked in. His expression was as cold as an eternal iceberg, and when he saw the blood at the corner of Lan Yu's mouth, a terrifying murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Chu Kuangren, this is an internal affair of the winged human tribe, die. Zhu Tianlan wanted to say something, but Chu Kuangren had already appeared in front of him and raised his hand to unleash a human mountain stamp. The extremely violent human mountain stamp instantly erupted and blasted onto Zhu Tianlan's head without holding back. With a bang, like an exploding watermelon, red and white matter splattered everywhere. Zhu Tianlan's head had been forcefully blown up. An ancient sky pride, a young emperor, had fallen. Young emperor. Chu Kuangren, you deserve to die. The few honorables at the scene did not expect Chu Kuangren to kill Zhu Tianlan without even asking any questions just because of a disagreement. That was the young emperor of the winged human tribe. Now, he had died in front of them. At that moment, the few honorables were so furious that they almost went crazy. The old man who was kind to Lan Yu immediately channeled his spiritual power and attacked Chu Kuangren. You're asking for it. Chu Kuangren raised his hand and unleashed another human mountain stamp. The horrifying energy instantly blasted the winged human elder away. His limbs, bones, and internal organs were all shattered, and his entire body fell to the ground like a pile of mud. There was no sign of life. The lord of the winged human tribe and the others who heard the commotion and rushed over just in time to see the scene of Chu Kuangren killing the winged human elder. When they saw Zhu Tianlan's corpse on the ground, their bodies trembled violently. Although he was furious, as the lord of the winged human tribe, he still retained a shred of rationality. He suppressed his anger and walked into the great hall. What happened? I don't know either. Chu Kuangren slowly retracted his hand, which was still holding onto a primordial emperor's essence. That was the primordial emperor's essence that belonged to Zhu Tianlan. The lord of the winged human tribe and the others almost vomited blood when they heard what Chu Kuangren said. Don't know? If you don't know, then you killed Zhu Tianlan? But they injured Lan Yu. Chu Kuangren continued. Indeed, he did not know what happened, but the fact that these people dared to hurt Lan Yu was enough for Chu Kuangren to kill them. The lord of the winged human tribe glanced at Lan Yu. Seeing that she was indeed injured, he asked, "Lan Yu, what happened?" Lan Yu told the lord of the winged human tribe about how Zhu Tianlan and the others tried to steal the scepter of light. The lord of the winged human tribe's expression became uglier as he listened. He glared fiercely at the few elders who were in cahoots with Zhu Tianlan. "What are you guys doing? Lan Yu has just saved our clan and you guys want to get rid of her after she's done with the grinding? Who gave you the guts to do that?" "Lord, the scepter of light is of great importance, and Lan Yu refused to return to our tribe. That's why we listened to the young emperor and came up with this plan," one of the elders said, pushing the blame onto the dead Zhu Tianlan. They were only following the young emperor's orders, and he was the culprit. He asked you guys to do it, and you guys did it? Have all your years of living been in vain? Lord, it doesn't matter how this started. What's important is that Chu Kuangren has killed the young emperor and the fourth elder. One of the elders said loudly, glaring at Chu Kuangren furiously. The lord of the winged human tribe's heart skipped a beat. He too felt sorry for Zhu Tianlan's death, but the person who killed him was Chu Kuangren. Chu Kuangren was so powerful that he could even kill a demon emperor's clone. Moreover, he had an honorable supreme and two honorable supremes by his side. If they were to fall out with each other, the winged human tribe would definitely suffer. Not to mention that they had just saved the entire winged human tribe. If they were to fall out with Chu Kuangren in the blink of an eye, what would they say? Zhu Tianlan incited our tribe to harm Lan Yu. He deserved to die. As for the few of you who were his accomplices, all of you shall face the wall for 10 years. You're not allowed to leave the city without my permission. The lord of the winged human tribe had already made up his mind. Lord, I refuse to accept this. Just as that elder was about to say something, the other elders beside him rushed up and held him back. Listen to the lord of the winged human tribe. Shut up and stop fooling around. You're tuning into the Unparalleled SwordWill YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.